Chapter 28-26. A complete copy. I will update the latest chapter of the Nine Suns Divine King as soon as possible. When Qin Yun learned of this news, he secretly cursed the Great Divine Lord a few times. That was because the Great Divine Lord had only stated a price and did not actually start selling. This caused many people to no longer use 10 million Divine Universe Goldstones to buy Qin Yun's mirror. This bastard, he hasn't even made it in batches yet, and he's already shooting randomly. Ming Yongtian was also cursing the Great Divine Lord. Not long after the living beings of the Divine Wilderness learned about the Divine Universe realm, various people with high Divine Universe force appeared on the Magic Mirror's platform. For example, the All-Heavens Dragon Emperor measured 350 Divine Universe force, while the Great Divine King only measured 320. Yu Shangyun of the Mystic Moon Clan was 310. The Emperor of the Great Sky Tribe was also at 310. The Emperor of the Sun Moon Tribe, who was also the disciple of the Great Godly King, was only at 170. Although Huo Xiangquang of the Fire Tribulation Clan wasn't a human and his body was very special, he was measured to be 270. The Heavenly Moon Tribe's Emperor ranked 360, higher than the All-Heavens Dragon Emperors. The Yu Tribe Emperor and the other tribe emperors of the Heaven-Splitting Ancient Clan were all around 350. Qin Yun is also trying to understand his friend's divine cosmos power. Xie Wufeng has 230, which is considered pretty good. There were more than 10 gods in the divine court of the myriad realms with more than 200. Even the divine chief judge had a little more than 200, which was even lower than Xie Wufeng. Long Shu and the Monkey King's divine cosmos force was also very frightening, actually reaching 300. What surprised Qin Yun the most was that Mu Jin had 220. The people who announced their divine space power had all stepped into the first tier of the divine space realm. Some had used breakthrough divine talismans to break through, while others had accidentally stepped into it. Although there were only 200 Imperial Yaoyao, her 9 sons Kuan Peng was very powerful. It had 310. This was what she told Qin Yun. After Qin Yun looked around, he curled his lips and said, "Why is everyone looking at my divine cosmos power? I'm only 30. What's there to look at?" Taisher said, "Divine cosmos force is only a reference, it cannot completely determine a person's strength." Strange, this girl Mu Jin's divine cosmos power is so strong, but when I fought her before, I didn't feel it. Qin Yun is very puzzled. She just broke through recently. She was originally only around 100. Taisher said. Qin Yun was more concerned about the Heaven Secrets sect master, because he was preparing to attack the Heaven Secrets sect. However, he did not gather any relevant information. Only by meeting him would he be able to determine it. Someone on the demonic mirror had also created a divine cosmos strength ranking. Currently, the person with the highest ranking was the Heavenly Moon Race Emperor, followed by the All-Heavens Dragon Emperor. In short, those ranked in the top 10 were all very famous experts. The Great Divine Lord's abilities weren't small either. In just a few days, he had made a mirror that could test the Divine Space Force and sold quite a few of them. He sold 5 million Divine Space Golden Stones, which also made many of the big shots feel uncomfortable in their hearts. Qin Yun gritted his teeth and followed immediately. He was selling for 4 million. After competing for a few days, the price finally dropped to 500,000 yuan. The reason why Qin Yun created those mirrors so quickly is because he has the Divine King Heavenly Seal. For the Great Divine Lord to be able to do it so quickly, he must have mastered some kind of technique. In the past few days, Qin Yun had only earned a total of 2 billion. This was all because of the competition from the Great Divine King. The Ling family, the Divine Court of the Myriad Realms and the Divine Moon Alliance had given him a total of 3 billion. The number of Divine Space Golden Stones in Qin Yun's Divine Universe Gold Card was more than 15 billion. In the past few days, the demand for the Divine Space Force detector had also decreased by a lot. As for the various big shots, they gradually grasped the method to step into the first level of the Divine Space realm, so they didn't need to buy the breakthrough Divine Talisman. Although he wouldn't be able to make a huge profit in the future, Qin Yun had still earned the first wave. He had earned more than the great Divine Lord. Those heaven-opening ancient clan were not to be trifled with. After all, they had a solid foundation. They had continuously created tools to test the Divine Space Force. As a result, the price would continue to fall. Qin Yun secretly admired Ming Yongtian. Back then, he was the one who said that he would sell it for 10 million each. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to earn the first wave. In the next few days, the waves regarding the Divine Space realm gradually subsided. Now, everyone was desperately trying to earn Divine Space Golden Stones. Ever since Qin Yun started, the various big shots quickly figured out the method to raise the Divine Space Force. They mainly relied on the Divine Space Golden Stones. In order to make their Divine Space Force stronger, those big shots didn't stay idle. They were all cultivating in seclusion. Only they could afford to use up the Divine Space Golden Stones. Only when the boss was strong enough could he lead a large group of people to make a fortune. In the Divine Desolate, without sufficient strength, even if they found the Divine Space Golden Stone mine, it would be snatched away by others. Especially in this brand new realm, the difference in strength between the various big shots was not great. If they were slow, they would be left behind very quickly. Qin Yun contacted Yu Shangyun. He wanted to ask her about her situation, but he found out that she was in seclusion. She was the Divine Moon Clan's empress. Furthermore, she was one of the few female big shots in the current top group. She couldn't fall behind. Otherwise, if the 4 Divine Sons were in danger, they wouldn't be able to continue staying within the 4 Divine Sons. Their Divine Moon Clan would be in great danger. Qin Yun learned from Great Elder Ling that they were all searching for a way to quickly raise the Divine Space Force. What troubled them the most was replenishing the Divine Space Force. Because after exhausting the Divine Space Force, even if they used a large amount of Divine Space Golden Stones, they would still need to absorb for a period of time to replenish it. This would greatly affect the speed of improvement. Almost everyone faced this problem. At this time, it depended on each family's perception. If they could find a faster method, they would be able to take the lead. I can use the Divine King Heavenly Seal to replenish it in an instant. Then wouldn't I be able to quickly stack up the Divine Space Force? Qin Yun was secretly delighted. He immediately began cultivating in the secret room of his small manor. His current Divine Space Force was full. He had a total of 30 points. With a thought, he used 30 points of Divine Space Force to attack the Divine Space within his body. It increased. Now I have a limit of 31 points. Qin Yun frowned slightly. He thought that he would be able to increase it by several points. He never expected that it would only increase by 1 point. He placed the Divine King Heavenly Seal on his heart and instantly consumed 30 million Divine Space Golden Stones to replenish it. Raising 1 point of Divine Space Force required more than 30 million. Qin Yun felt his heart ache. Furthermore, as the upper limit of Divine Space Force increased, the consumption of Divine Space Golden Stones would definitely increase. He suddenly felt that Divine Space Realm cultivation was simply a bottomless pit. While Qin Yun was cultivating, the All Heavens Dragon Emperors suddenly announced that their Dragon Peach Divine Tree had produced a kind of Dragon Peach King. They also said that eating a Dragon Peach King could increase the upper limit of Divine Space Force by several tens. This caused many big shots to immediately come out of seclusion and rush to the Heaven's Mandate Holy Land to ask for a Dragon Peach King. Qin Yun, who was cultivating, naturally knew of this matter. He immediately asked Tai Shi if it was true. If it's the Heaven's Mandate Dragon Lake's Dragon Peach Divine Tree, then it's possible. But this kind of Dragon Peach King is very rare, definitely not as many as the previous ones. Tai Shi said, Try your best to get one. Only the first time will have an effect. Being able to eat it is a profit. Qin Yun's relationship with Long Shu and the Monkey King is pretty good. He believes that he can definitely get one or two. Chapter 28-27. The latest chapter of 9 Sun Divine King. Eating a Dragon Peach King can increase several tens of divine cosmos power. This is indeed very tempting. Many people have just broken through Divine Heaven Lord and are still in the initial stage of Divine Space Realm. They only have around 10 divine cosmos power. Many people have just broken through Divine Heaven Lord and are still in the initial stage of Divine Space Realm. They only have around 10 divine cosmos power. As for those who broke through earlier, they have several tens of divine cosmos power. As long as they increase it by a few tens and reach 100 divine cosmos power, they will be able to step into first level of divine space realm. Qin Yun is now 31. If he wants to increase it to 100, he will need to consume many divine cosmos golden stones. If I can really get a Dragon Peach King, I should eat it later. Qin Yun is currently thinking about how to eat Dragon Peach King to maximize his benefit. Dragon Peach King can suddenly increase people's divine cosmos power by several tens. There must be a limit. Let's talk about it after we understand it, Taisher said. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror and contacted Long Shu. Queen Long Shu, is the matter of Dragon Peach King true? Qin Yun directly asked about this matter. It's true, I ate one and increased my divine cosmos power by 35. Long Shu said with smile. Boss Qin, what is your current divine cosmos power? You might not believe it, but my divine cosmos power is only 31. It's not as good as eating a Dragon Peach King. Qin Yun laughed at himself. Don't look at how much I understand divine space realm. My divine cosmos power is still very low. Long Shu and Qin Yun's relationship is very good, especially when Qin Yun helped her carve runes on her body and even let her fuse with Bai Suxin's bloodline heavenly rune. Back then she trusted Qin Yun very much. That's why she dared to let him carve dangerous runes on her body. Is it really only 31? That's too low, Long Shu said. Our All Heaven's Dragon Emperor already has 400 divine cosmos power. 400? So fast. Qin Yun is greatly shocked. Before, the first place was still Heavenly Moon Clan's Dragon Emperor. Not long after, there are already 400 Heaven's Dragon Emperors. Of course, the All Heaven's Dragon Emperors did not announce it. It wasn't just the All Heaven's Dragon Emperor who didn't want to announce it. The others wouldn't announce it either, in case others found out about their true strength. Don't worry, I will help you get a Dragon Peach King. No matter what, you saved the Dragon Peach Divine Tree. It is not difficult to get one for you. Long Shu knows that Qin Yun is looking for her because he wants the Dragon Peach King. Thank you very much, Qin Yun said with smile. If that's the case, I won't go to the Heaven's Mandate Sacred Land. I must seize the time to increase my divine cosmos power. Alright, after I get the Dragon Peach King, I will personally deliver it to you. Long Shu knows Qin Yun's ability. She will try her best to have a good relationship with him. Alright, if you meet the Divine Moon Clan's Emperor, can you help her get a few? Qin Yun thought that Yu Shangyun might also go. I'll try my best, Long Shu said. The reason why our Dragon Emperor has invited all the big shots here is to carry out an exchange of benefits. I will talk to our Dragon Emperor and have him give a few more Dragon Peach King to the Divine Moon Race. Many thanks. Qin Yun promptly expressed his thanks. He was also planting a Dragon Peach Divine Tree, but he didn't know when it would bear a Dragon Peach King. Let alone a Dragon Peach King, even an ordinary Dragon Peach had yet to form. Qin Yun continued to consume Divine Cosmos Goldstones to increase the upper limit of his Divine Cosmos power. Old brother Taisher, do I have to consume all of my Divine Cosmos power every time to increase the Divine Cosmos within my body? Qin Yun feels that if this goes on, the consumption will definitely be great. Not necessarily. You can try using 10 points, 15 points, 20 points. If 20 points doesn't work, then 25 points. Teicher said, if you consume all of your divine cosmos power to develop and strengthen your divine cosmos, the benefit is that you can have 1 or 2 more points. Qin Yun has now filled up his divine cosmos power to 31 points. Then, through the mirror, he used his mental power to enter his body's divine cosmos. After carefully sensing it, he can sense 31 points. They are like 31 weak small stars in the boundless dark universe. He used his mental power to lock onto 11 points of light and then controlled them to explode. This way, he consumed 11 points of divine cosmos power in a short while. Didn't succeed. Qin Yun withdrew his mental power from the mirror and took a deep breath. Then he tried using 15 points again, but he also didn't succeed in increasing the upper limit of divine cosmos power. He now only has 10 points left. He used 10 million divine cosmos goldstones to replenish 10 points and then consumed 20 points of divine cosmos power in one go. This time, his upper limit of divine cosmos power has increased to 32 points. So it turns out that I only need 20 points of divine cosmos power to develop and strengthen my body's divine cosmos and increase the upper limit by 1 point. Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. If you use more than 30 points of divine cosmos power in one go and your luck is good, you can explode a little more or even 2 points. Teicher suggested Qin Yun to use up all of his divine cosmos power in one go and increase his divine cosmos power by relying on his luck. Qin Yun feels that this is not worth it. If his luck is bad, wouldn't he suffer a great loss? If he uses 20 points at one go, he can save a lot of points over time. I'd better use 20 points to cultivate. Qin Yun believes that his luck is not that good. The higher your divine cosmos power is, the higher the chance of exploding. Anyway, you have a lot of divine cosmos goldstones, so give it a try. Teicher said. Qin Yun replenished 32 points of divine cosmos power and used up another 30 million. This time, he directly used up 32 points of divine cosmos power to develop and strengthen his body's divine cosmos. What surprised him is that his upper limit increased by 2 points. He now has 34 points. Finally exploded. Qin Yun happily laughed. He immediately replenished 34 points of divine cosmos power and continued to cultivate. However, this time he only increased by 1 point, which made him very disappointed. Next few times, Qin Yun did not explode. Every time he increased it by 1 point. Even Teicher thought that his luck was not good and told him to use 20 points each time to cultivate. This way he can save a lot. Qin Yun's current upper limit of divine cosmos power is 40. He is cultivating in the Ling Mansion. If he runs out of divine cosmos goldstones, he can go to the underground warehouse to take them out. Ling family's goldstone store has a lot of divine cosmos goldstones. If the Ling Mansion's underground warehouse lacks them, they can transport them from other goldstone stores. Raising the upper limit of divine cosmos power by 1 point requires 20 million divine cosmos goldstones. Will it be like this in the future? Qin Yun asked Teicher. I'm not too sure either. After all, your human's cultivation method and the current environment is not the era I was familiar with. Teicher said, let's take one step at a time. Qin Yun plans to raise the upper limit of divine cosmos power to 100 first. He still needs to raise the upper limit by 60 points, which is 1.2 billion divine cosmos goldstones. 1.2 billion, not bad. Qin Yun has more than 10 billion in his hands, so he can still accept it. Previously, he thought that every time he increases a bit, he would have to consume his highest upper limit of divine cosmos power. That consumption would be very terrifying. Now, after testing it out, he only needs 20 points of divine cosmos power to develop and strengthen the divine cosmos within his body. Raising the upper limit by 1 point is acceptable. When Divine Cosmos power reaches 100, you can step into first-level Divine Cosmos realm. But I suggest you raise your Divine Cosmos power to the limit before breaking through. This way, after breaking through, the increase in Divine Cosmos power might be a bit more. Taisher is also guessing. Even if it is not, there is no harm in doing so. Chapter 28:28. Qin Yun raised the upper limit of Divine Cosmos power very quickly. Even if others had large amounts of Divine Cosmos golden stones, they did not have the help of Divine King Heavenly Seal. In half a day, Qin Yun consumed 1.2 billion and raised his Divine Cosmos power to 100. After reaching this stage, he realized that it was not easy to raise his Divine Cosmos power anymore. Even if he used 50 Divine Cosmos power to develop and strengthen the Divine Cosmos in his body, he would not be able to raise the upper limit. Could it be that 100 is my limit? Qin Yun looked at the number that appeared on the mirror in disbelief. He has Super Heaven Divine Body, which is much stronger than Great Elderling's body. And Great Elderling's Divine Cosmos power reached 120 before he stepped into the first level of Divine Cosmos realm. Is it because my body is not strong enough? Qin Yun did not continue to raise the upper limit of Divine Cosmos power. Instead, he calmly examined his body. He has Super Heaven Divine Body. His body is not his limit, but the Divine Cosmos in his body is unable to raise the upper limit of Divine Cosmos power. Taisher couldn't find the problem because it was just too strange. Qin Yun planned to raise his Divine Cosmos power to 200 before he reached the first level of Divine Cosmos realm, and then break through. This way, he might be able to erupt with even more Divine Cosmos power. After some investigation, Taisher found the reason. It is indeed because your body is not strong enough that it is restricted. Taisher said, the Divine Cosmos in your body is a very powerful energy body. If you want to surpass the limit, the energy body will also become stronger. Qin Yun touched the energy body in his heart. That is his heart and also the Divine Cosmos in his body. Exceeding the limit of Divine Cosmos power would indeed affect this heart. If he directly broke through to the first level of Divine Cosmos realm, it would be done within the Divine Cosmos and would not affect the energy body. If he did not want to step into the first level of Divine Cosmos realm and wanted to raise the Divine Cosmos power, he must raise the energy body. After the energy body is raised, the fluctuations that it will erupt with is not something Qin Yun's body can bear. Old brother Taisher, my Super Heaven Divine Body is only at the initial stage, there is still room for improvement, right? Qin Yun suddenly said. He decided to improve his body and temporarily not step into the first level of Divine Cosmos realm. The Divine Mirror of Great Beginnings suddenly floated up and circled around Qin Yun's body. It constantly illuminated Qin Yun's body and carefully examined it. Before long, Taisher said, you can first refine 108 Divine Universe Golden Tendons in your body. With the Divine Universe Golden Tendons in your body, it can make your body even more resilient. Divine Universe Golden Tendon? How do you refine this thing? Qin Yun had never heard of it before, but he guessed that it definitely required a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstones. You have to consume a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstones and then combine it with Divine Universe power to condense your blood and stimulate the tempering of your muscles. That way, you can cultivate Divine Universe Golden Tendons. I can help you through the God King Heavenly Seal. As expected, Qin Yun knew that this would definitely require a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstones. He still had more than 13 billion Divine Universe Goldstones in his possession. Although Yu Shangyun had 100 billion in her hands, that was the wealth of the entire Divine Moon clan. As for Qin Yun himself, he controlled more than 10 billion. Even the powerhouses of other factions would have to hold an internal meeting if they wanted to use such a sum of Divine Universe Goldstones. Old brother Taisher, after the first level of the Divine Universe realm, the upper limit of the Divine Universe power can be raised a little. Is it the same as before, only 20 million? Qin Yun wanted to figure it out. He was considering if there was a need to surpass the limit. It's not the same. After the first level of the Divine Universe realm, the Divine Universe power will be much stronger than before. Let's put it this way, your Divine Universe power's energy quantum doesn't have a nucleus. If you step into the first level, then your energy quantum will have a nucleus. If you step into the second level of the Divine Universe realm, there will be 2 nuclei inside. As for how many Divine Universe Goldstones will be needed to raise the upper limit, I'm not sure right now, but you will definitely need more Divine Universe Goldstones. When Qin Yun heard what Taisher said, he understood that the Divine Universe power of the first level of the Divine Universe realm would be much stronger. This meant that cultivating a little upper limit would require even more Divine Universe Goldstones. Also, under normal circumstances, after stepping into the first level of the Divine Universe realm, reaching 500 Divine Universe power is the limit. Then, you will need to step into the second level. If you surpass the limit now, then when you reach the first level of the Divine Universe realm, the highest limit might be 600 or 700. Taisher said again. He was only guessing. Then what does this mean? Qin Yun said with a frown. If you step into the second tier of the Divine Space realm with 702 nuclei of Divine Space Force, then after you step into the second tier, you will have at least 703 nuclei of Divine Space Force. In addition to the upper limit explosion obtained from breaking through, you may immediately have 800 or even 900 Divine Space Force, and others who break through with 500 nuclei of Divine Universe power might only have 600 Divine Universe power. Once you break through to the second level of the Divine Universe realm, you will leave others far behind. Because you have built a good foundation in the Divine Universe realm, every time you break through, you will have a lot more Divine Universe power than others. Taisher carefully analyzed. He was suggesting that Qin Yun break through the limit at all costs. Alright, then let's start now. Qin Yun knew that he was much weaker than those big shots, but in the future, he might not be able to. If his foundation was solid, among the same level, his Divine Universe power would be a level higher than others. In addition to his powerful body, he would be invincible. Qin Yun made a trip to the Ling Mansion's basement and asked for more than 3 billion Divine Universe Gold Stones. He still had 10 billion on his card. After he returned to his Manners training room, he learned from the magic mirror that the Great Divine Lord's Divine Universe power had already reached 420. This was a sharp increase after eating the Dragon Peach King. In other words, he would soon be able to step into the second level of the Divine Universe realm. He was only 80 away. To the Great Divine Lord, it wouldn't take long for him to raise this 80 Divine Universe power. This guy, how can he be so fast? Qin Yun secretly gritted his teeth. Don't worry, there might be other reasons for them to hurry up and improve. Don't forget about the 9-Sun Holy Land, Taisher said, and the reason you raised your Divine Universe power is not to surpass these powerhouses, but to solve the 9-Sun Holy Land's crisis. From Taisher's point of view, once the 9-Sun Holy Land's crisis erupted, it would bring about a great disaster. Taisher did not expect Qin Yun to be able to solve the 9-Sun Holy Land's crisis in an instant. He only hoped that he could survive and wait for an opportunity to counterattack. Taisher had already prepared for the worst, but Qin Yun didn't know. He believed that the people from the outer verse would not be very strong. Everyone has already found their own cultivation path, and are rapidly improving. Qin Yun put away the magic mirror and began to let Taisher help him refine the Divine Universe gold veins. He laid on the bed and used the Divine King Heavenly Seal to press down on his heart. I don't know how many Divine Universe gold stones it will consume. In short, no matter what, it will be of great benefit to you. It will help you build a solid foundation in the divine universe realm. Taisher said. Please remember this book's domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor Mobile Version website. Chapter 28-29. Taisher started activating the Divine King Heavenly Seal, and Qin Yun quickly sensed a great reaction in his body. A large amount of blood seemed to be boiling, and the divine cosmos power in his body seemed to have been consumed in an instant. Old brother Taisher, what's the situation now? Qin Yun hastily asked. I'll use 50 divine cosmos power to refine my blood, Taisher said. After gathering a portion of your blood with 50 divine cosmos power, use 50 divine cosmos power to stimulate your muscles. This way you can refine divine universe golden tendons. The specific process is still rather complicated. Qin Yun can't help but feel heartache. He had used up 100 divine cosmos power in an instant. If he wanted to immediately replenish it, he would need 100 million divine universe golden stones. When he calculated this number, he almost jumped up, because he wanted to refine 108 divine universe golden tendons. That would be 8 billion. This would completely empty him. He began to worry that more than half of the divine universe golden stones in the Ling residence's treasury would be taken away by him. If you think that you used up a lot of divine universe golden stones, you can naturally recover. However, to naturally recover 100 divine universe power, it will take several days. Taisher said. Several days of time was nothing to many old fellows. But to Qin Yun, it was extremely long, because if he wanted to refine 108 divine universe golden tendons and use natural recovery method, it would waste a lot of time. So what if I use it? I have a way to earn it back anyways. Qin Yun earned 10 billion divine universe golden stones quite easily. In order to become stronger faster, he could only endure the pain and use it. After refining for 30 times, Qin Yun successfully refined 30 divine universe golden tendons in his body. What made Qin Yun gratified is that every time he refined a divine universe golden tendon, the upper limit of his divine universe power would increase a bit. Now it is already 130. There are no more divine universe golden stones in the 9 Sun Divine Soul. Qin Yun took out the divine universe gold card. Thinking about how frequently he extracted divine universe golden stones, the Ling residence would definitely be quite strenuous. In just 2 days, I used up several billion divine universe golden stones. Qin Yun found it somewhat unbelievable. If he added the ones he broke through earlier, it would be close to 10 billion. The heaven-splitting ancient race was also frantically fighting for business. They were selling breakthrough divine talismans and divine cosmos force detectors. The price had already fallen to 100,000 divine cosmos metal stones. Qin Yun did not know how the heaven-splitting ancient clan managed to mass-produce them. In short, if he were to sell them, he would not be able to get such a price. Looks like I can only sell Xiao Sa Yen. Qin Yun has a batch of Xiao Sa Yen that he can sell, but he can only sell them for a few 100 million. Several 100 million divine universe metal stones was only a small number in his eyes. Don't tell me I should rob the metal stone shop? Qin Yun suddenly had this thought. First Elder Ling had instigated him to rob the Sun En Divine Tribe's metal stone shop. He shook his head. Things were not the same as before. Nowadays, there were many big shots with extremely high divine cosmos force. If he encountered them, he wouldn't be able to defeat them. To be able to become a powerhouse of a faction, there was no one to be trifled with. Their comprehension was extremely high, and once they grasped the knack, they would be able to break through quickly. Nowadays, more and more powerhouses didn't publicize their divine cosmos force. Moreover, they had tools on them to protect them, preventing others from probing them. These tools were all made by them during this period of time. Qin Yun planned on waiting 2 or 3 days before heading to the vault to retrieve the Divine Universe Goldstones. He was currently in the small manor, adapting to the short-term increase in his divine cosmos force. It was indeed much stronger than before. If he encountered the evil Corpse King again, he would definitely be able to use the Heaven's divine saber to kill him. Just as Qin Yun was circulating his divine cosmos force in the cultivation room, First Elder Ling's voice suddenly rang out. "Boss Qin, is it convenient for you to come out now?" First Elder Ling shouted. Qin Yun immediately went out and saw that First Elder Ling's expression was somewhat strange. He hurriedly asked, "Old Ling, what's wrong? What happened?" "Our family head is injured, and from today onwards, he is no longer the Dharch of the Extreme Sky tribe." First Elder Ling let out a long sigh. "Injured? Who hit him? Was it the great Divine King?" Qin Yun asked anxiously. First Elder Ling shook his head. "It wasn't the great Divine King, it was the living beings of the Nine Sun Sacred Land. They are similar to humans and very strong. After the family head was injured, the other clans of the Extreme Sky tribe took this opportunity to kick him off the throne." "How much divine cosmos force does the family head have?" Qin Yun took a deep breath. The Dharch of the Extreme Sky tribe was not weak, but he had been seriously injured. 410. First Elder Ling frowned and said, "According to him, there are many people in the Nine Sun Sacred Land with this kind of strength. Moreover, the people inside are building many passages and preparing to rush out." Qin Yun's expression also changed. If even a person with 410 divine cosmos force was injured, then the overall strength of the living beings in the Nine Sun Sacred Land was simply terrifying. In the divine desolate of the heavens, there were no more than 100 people with more than 400 divine cosmos force. If a person with 1 or 200 divine cosmos force did not have a powerful divine tool, they would be instantly killed by someone with 3 or 400 divine cosmos force. The biggest disaster is coming soon. We are currently strengthening the Ling Mansion. First Elder Ling said in a deep voice, "But the divine desolate of the heavens is not very safe, so I will contact the divine judge and arrange for your Ling family to move to the 4 divine suns as soon as possible." Qin Yun said. The Nine Sun Sacred Palace had already moved to the 4 divine suns and even gave up on the Through Heaven sword formation. On the ground, the divine desolate of the heavens has become unsafe. For example, the Heavenly Court, Law Enforcement Realm and the Sun-In Divine Race have already moved to the 6th Divine Sunday. It seems like they know a lot about the Nine Sun Sacred Land. First Elder Ling breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the Ling Mansion could enter the 4 divine suns, they would be able to gain some time to increase their strength. "I will go find the divine judge and tell them about the situation in the Nine Sun Sacred Land." First Elder Ling said. Qin Yun thought for a moment and said, "The 4 divine suns are quite spacious, it should be able to accommodate many living beings, right?" "Old Ling, I plan to transfer most of the living beings in the divine desolate to the 4 divine suns. With enough living beings joining hands, we will be able to resist the threat from the outerverse." First Elder Ling nodded in agreement. "The space inside the other myriad worlds' divine suns is not small. Can we consider it?" Qin Yun asked. "No, apart from the 4 divine suns, the other myriad worlds' divine suns are not safe." First Elder Ling shook his head. Qin Yun doesn't know why they are not safe. Although there are divine sun descendants inside the myriad worlds' divine suns, they can't enter the core. "Old Ling, I still have 10 billion Divine Universe Golden Stones in my Divine Universe Gold card. Can I take them all out?" Qin Yun asked. "Of course you can." First Elder Ling said with smile, "Don't worry, our Ling family will have no problem protecting the golden stones. You don't have to worry about being robbed." Please remember this book's domain name, 9 Heavens Divine Emperor Mobile Version website. Chapter 2830. Complete version. The latest chapter of the Nine-Sun Divine King. Great Elder Ling also knew that Qin Yun had taken out many Divine Universe Goldstones during this period of time. Now that he saw Qin Yun taking out all the Divine Universe Goldstones, he thought that Qin Yun was worried that the Ling family could not defend the vault. After all, the Ling family master was no longer the emperor of the Extreme Sky tribe, and he was seriously injured. That's not what I meant. I want to use it for cultivation. My cultivation method is special, so I need to consume a lot of Divine Universe Goldstones. Qin Yun said in a low voice. Really? Then Boss Qin, how much Divine Universe power do you have now? Great Elder Ling suddenly became curious. Not much. I have not entered the first level of the Divine Universe realm yet. I need to break through as soon as possible. Qin Yun smiled and said, Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about Ling family master's injuries. Great Elder Ling nodded and said, I trust you, that's why I told you about it. Currently, only a few of us know that the family master is injured. When I have the chance, I will meet with your family master again. Send my regards to him, I hope he will get better soon. Qin Yun said. Then, Great Elder Ling brought Qin Yun to the vault to get the Divine Universe Goldstones. The Ling family had several vaults, and they were all built inside the huge Divine Universe Amethyst. If such a huge Divine Universe Amethyst was cut up, it would be worth at least 1 trillion Divine Universe Goldstones. Qin Yun had to admit that the Ling family was really rich. With this Divine Universe Amethyst, they could definitely open a goldstone shop. Of course, the Ling family had never revealed anything about the Divine Universe Amethyst. Even when Qin Yun asked, they were secretive. There were many Divine Universe Amethyst in the universe, especially after the Divine Universe Purple Sun self-destructed, it would produce a large number of them. Only a small number of Divine Universe Amethyst was absorbed into the Divine Wilderness, but even so, the entire Divine Wilderness contained billions of Divine Universe Amethyst. Whether it was Divine Universe Amethyst or Divine Universe Goldstones, if a huge piece was gradually broken, it would be the size of a grain of rice. The self-destruction of many large Divine Suns would also produce a large number of Divine Universe Goldstones. The Divine Desolate Heavens was formed by devouring all kinds of Divine Sun fragments floating in the universe, so it originally contained a large number of Divine Universe Goldstones. In addition, the Myriad Realms Divine Sun would occasionally inject a powerful energy into the earth to nurture the Divine Universe Metal Oregon. In the Gods Desolate, there were many Divine Universe Metal Stones. Qin Yun quickly took away 10 billion Divine Universe Goldstones, which made First Elder Ling very shocked. This was because Qin Yun's storage divine artifact was just too powerful. It could actually hold more than 10 billion Divine Universe Goldstones. Qin Yun returned to his small manor and entered the cultivation room. He notified the Divine Chief Judge and asked him to discuss with Grand Elder Ling to arrange for Ling family to move into 4 Divine Yang City. Qin Yun contacted Yun Long and got the Immortal Heaven pawnshop to hide in the depths of the universe during this period of time. It was to try its best not to approach the Divine Wilderness. The Immortal Heaven pawnshop was a celestial Divine Sunday. It was a very obvious target and had to be hidden well. If the 4 Divine Suns couldn't hold on, the Immortal Heaven pawnshop would be his other path of retreat. After Qin Yun made these arrangements, he began to cultivate with peace of mind. He still had to continue cultivating the Divine Universe Golden Tendons. In the Magic Mirror, the Heaven-Splitting Ancient Clan actually spread the news that the Nine-Sun Sacred Ground was in danger. The Heaven-Splitting Ancient Clan also knew about the Nine-Sun Sacred Ground's crisis and seemed to be very clear about it. They even said that the Divine Wilderness would soon fall. If they wanted to stay alive, they had to leave the Divine Wilderness and head to the universe, enter the Myriad Realms Divine Sunland, or head to Divine Moonland. When this news came out, the entire Divine Wilderness immediately panicked. Especially now, Many people thought that the myriad realms' divine court had moved into the four divine sons, so they all believed that the news was true. Qin Yun lay on the bed, cultivating the divine universe golden tendons while looking at the magic mirror. He had already told the divine chief judge and the others about the nine-sun sacred grounds crisis. Now that the news had spread, his friends were not too surprised. What puzzled Qin Yun was the intention of the heaven-splitting ancient clan releasing this news, and whether they knew anything about the nine-sun sacred ground. The beings in the nine-sun sacred ground are called extraterrestrial beings by the heaven-splitting ancient clan. Many of them are in human form, and there are also many beasts. They are not much different from the beings in our universe. They are born with at least 200 divine universe power. After stepping into the first level of the divine space realm, their divine universe power can soar to 270. The most powerful thing about these extraterrestrial beings is that they can directly devour divine universe golden stones and convert them into divine universe power. When Qin Yun saw the news released by the heaven-splitting ancient clan, he exclaimed, "These extraterrestrial beings really eat divine universe golden stones like rice. If that's really the case, then the growth rate of these extraterrestrial beings must be very fast." You are temporarily unable to grasp the ability to quickly absorb divine universe golden stones, so you can't compare to them, Taisher said. How does the heaven-splitting ancient clan know so clearly? Qin Yun frowned. Could it be that their missing ancestors have returned? Very likely. The missing ancestors of the heaven-splitting ancient clan might have gone to the outerverse and returned through that passage. They have been missing for so long, yet they are still in the outerverse. This means that they must be very strong now. Furthermore, they have a method to quickly absorb divine universe power. It looks like the heaven-splitting ancient clan is about to rise. When Qin Yun heard Taisher's words, he said, "The heaven-splitting ancient clan also has territory in the sixth divine Sunday. The sixth divine sun is so big that it can accommodate the heaven-splitting ancient clan. Apart from that, they also have territory in the divine moon of the heavens. In order to gather 100 billion divine universe golden stones, the heavenly moon clan's emperor had sold a lot of land in the divine moon of the heavens to the other heaven-splitting ancient clans." Qin Yun immediately used the magic mirror to contact Yu Yao Yao and asked, "Yao Yao, have your heaven-splitting ancient clan's ancestors returned?" "Boss Qin, you really know a lot. You previously said that a group of ancestors of our heaven-splitting ancient clan went to the outerverse and will return soon." "It's true." Yu Yao Yao exclaimed repeatedly when she mentioned this matter. "Really? How strong are they?" Qin Yun asked anxiously. He was so shocked that he almost sat up. "Our ancestors are no longer around, but they have descendants in the outerverse. Their descendants are very old and can be considered our ancestors. The strongest ancestor of our Yu ancient clan has a very high divine universe power," Yu Yao Yao replied. "Very high? How high is that?" Qin Yun asked. "I also don't know. I asked, but that ancestor didn't tell me. He only smiled and told me to work harder." Yu Yao Yao said, "However, I know that the youngsters who returned with the ancestors have divine universe power. Most of them are around 700, they are at the second level of the divine universe realm." 700? Qin Yun is very astonished, he doesn't dare to believe it. "Yes, they are really strong. Let's not talk anymore, the ancestors want to pass on their power to us." Yu Yao Yao finished speaking and cut off the connection. Chapter 2831. A complete copy. I will update the latest chapter of the Nine Sons Divine King as soon as possible. After Qin Yun severed his connection with Imperial Yao Yao, the billowing waves in his heart could not calm down for a long time. The ancestors that had returned from the outerverse had actually brought back juniors with them that had a force of 700 or 800 divine universe forces. Moreover, these were just juniors, so one could imagine just how powerful those ancestors were. Qin Yun also realized that the great Divine Lord had kept a low profile during this period of time. He was no longer like before, when he would occasionally post all sorts of arrogant words on the magic mirror. It was not just the great God King. The law enforcers and the heavenly court had been much more low-key recently. It was clear that they knew about the return of the heaven-splitting clan's ancestor. Great Divine Lord had previously boasted that he was the one who created the divine space realm, but now that the matter had been exposed, he was also very embarrassed. Furthermore, his divine space power might not even be as good as the youths that his ancestors had brought back. The outer verse has taken the lead in the divine space realm in terms of cultivation. The people who came back from that place must have learned the cultivation methods of foreign creatures. It's normal for them to be stronger than you guys, Taisher said. But they are too strong. Any random youth has the force of several hundred divine universe realms. And on our side, those clan emperors and big shots all have around 400 to 500. Qin Yun is still somewhat unable to accept this. It had to be known that his current divine cosmos force was less than 200. If he were to face someone with 700 or 800 divine cosmos force, even if he wasn't instantly killed, he would still be severely injured. After all, that's the ancient Heaven clan. Back in the day, they were able to seal all sorts of supermassive divine suns and supermassive nether suns. Even if they don't go to the outerverse, their inheritances won't be weak. Especially now that the gods desolate has so many resources. Taisher said. Qin Yun recalled that the heaven-splitting ancient clan once possessed bloodline heavenly patterns. Perhaps they had several generations of bloodline heavenly patterns. What piqued Qin Yun's curiosity was whether the ancient Yu clan's lost Yu heavenly talisman would reappear. He immediately used the magic mirror to contact Yu Luanhui. Yu Luanhui, your ancestor is back. Qin Yun told Yu Luanhui about it. After Yu Luanhui heard this, he cursed in a low voice. Those bastards, they didn't tell me such an important thing, I'm going back now. No matter what, Yu Luanhui was a part of the ancient Yu clan. Now that the ancestors have returned, the power structure of the ancient Yu clan was broken and no one could suppress Yu Luanhui anymore. As long as Yu Luanhui was good at kissing his ass, he would be able to do well in the clan. What worried Qin Yun was that the powerful ancestors of the heaven-splitting ancient clan would join forces to attack the fourth divine Sunday. The divine judge also began to arrange for people to receive the people or non-humans who were teleported to the four-god sun from the various cities. After entering the four-god Yang realm, they had to sign a soul contract. They were not allowed to cause trouble or fight inside and had to abide by the rules. Everyone knew that there were powerful beings from the outer universe in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground, and entering the Divine Sun Sacred Ground was the safest. In order to stay alive, signing a soul contract was not a problem. Following that, Shen Yu also announced that they were willing to accept the various races of the divine wilderness. The mystic moon of the heavens was controlled by the heaven-splitting ancient clan. The mystic moon of the heavens was rich in resources and needed many people to mine it. If the various races wanted to enter the god moon of the heavens, they would definitely have to pay a price. 2 days later, Qin Yun has cultivated 108 divine universe golden tendons. His divine universe power's upper limit has reached 208, and he still has more than 2 billion divine universe golden stones. Not even stepping into the first level of the divine universe realm, he already has 208. This can be considered very awesome. Eat another dragon, Peach King, maybe it will increase a bit, Taisher said. Qin Yun immediately contacted Long Shu. Originally, he wanted to personally go to the Heaven's Mandate Sacred Ground, but Long Shu said she wanted to come to the Ling residence and discuss some matters with the Ling family. The Heaven's Mandate Sacred Ground has a teleportation formation that leads to the heaven-towering divine city. Long Shu very quickly arrived at the Ling residence. She is wearing tree bark armor, her brown hair has already been tied up. The female Dragon King's expression is very solemn. Clearly, her mood is heavy because of the current atmosphere in the divine wilderness. The Heaven's Mandate Dragon Lake is very important. The entire Heaven's Mandate sacred ground is very important to the dragon race. If the outer universe beings rush out of the Nine Sun sacred ground, they will definitely target the Heaven's Mandate Dragon Lake. The Sun Dragon race inside the ancestral god Sun promised to accept the entire dragon race. The ancestral god Sun's core can completely accommodate the entire dragon race. However, they can't transfer the Heaven's Mandate Dragon Lake to the ancestral god Sun's core. Long Shu first saw Qin Yun. When she saw Qin Yun, a faint smile appeared on her solemn face. Boss Qin, your relationship with the Ling family is pretty good, you even live here. The dragon race looked all around the small manor where Qin Yun is staying. Queen Long Shu, many thanks for sending the Dragon Peach King. Tell me the price. Qin Yun said with smile. Give me 100 boxes of King Grade Easy and Easy cigarette. While speaking, Long Shu took out a cigarette and lit it up. Then she walked into the hall. Qin Yun directly gave Long Shu a storage bag. There is a large pile of King Grade Easy and Easy cigarette inside. They are all unpacked, there are definitely more than 100 boxes. Long Shu is very satisfied. She took out one and put it on her ear. Then she took out a very large jade box. Here, the Dragon Peach King is inside. Long Shu placed it on the table, crossed her legs and said, The Dragon Peach King doesn't have a peach pit. It is said that the pit explodes and forms the Dragon Peach King. Are there many Dragon Peach Kings? Qin Yun opened the box and saw a peach that looks like a light golden crystal. A wave of fragrance floated out. He doesn't dare to let Yang Yang know that there is such a peach here, otherwise she will immediately run out and snatch it. Not a lot, I made a few and gave them to Sister Shang Yun. Long Shu mischievously laughed and said, This divine moon race empress is truly a rare great beauty, her whole body is so fragrant. Cough cough. Qin Yun dryly coughed and asked, Does your all heavens dragon race have any plans? Speaking of this matter, Long Shu's smile disappeared. She sighed and said, I came to the Ling family this time to ask them if they have any way to help us move the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake. Because I heard that there is a very large Divine Universe Amethyst under the Ling family's mansion. That Divine Universe Amethyst even has a space inside it. There is also a space under the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake. It is very similar to the Ling family's Divine Universe Amethyst. Qin Yun heard from Long Shu that there is a space inside the Divine Universe Amethyst. He went to the underground treasury several times before but did not discover this. The Ling family might not have any way. You want to move the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake to the ancestral god Sun Core region. This is not impossible. Qin Yun said. Boss Qin, if you can do it, our all heavens dragon race will not let you off. The Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake is my route, I cannot give it up. Long Shu said. Don't say anything else, just based on our relationship, I will definitely help you. Qin Yun said with smile. Then what is our relationship? Long Shu, who originally had a very serious expression, suddenly showed charming smile. Of course we are friends. Qin Yun took out the devil mirror with smile and said, You can contact the outsider race's clan emperor in Wukong. I will give him a heads up and let him talk with you. Chapter 2832. The foreign void race have spatial origin stones. Although the space of divine desolate is becoming stronger and stronger, they are very familiar with the changes of space. And Wukong told Qin Yun before that if they become stronger, they will be able to release even more power from the spatial origin stone. Therefore, Qin Yun believed that an Wukong definitely had a way to transfer the Heavenly Mandate Dragon Lake to the core region of the ancestral god Sunday, the foreign void race. I heard that they were once suppressed by the law enforcers. Did you release them? Those guys from the law enforcers instigated our Dragon Emperor to attack the foreign void race. Long Shu only heard about the existence of the foreign void race. She doesn't know how strong they are. Because the foreign void race is very low-key. If not for the law enforcers constantly looking for them, their existence would be very low. It must be known that the teleportation formations built by the Myriad Realms Divine Court in many cities were all created by them. Moreover, the Devil Mirrors were also created by them. The Devil Mirrors Foundation is inside the ancient city and it is mainly made from spatial origin stones. Not many people know about this matter. Everyone thinks that the Devil Mirror was created by the Myriad Realms Divine Court. Go talk to the clan emperor of the foreign void race. He will do his best to help you because of me. Qin Yun said. All Heaven's Dragon race has great potential, especially since they have the Heaven's Fate Dragon Lake and the Bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box. Relying on these things, all Heaven's Dragon race will become the strongest existence in this cosmos. Qin Yun is willing to help all Heaven's Dragon race because he wants to build trust with them. After this matter is done, I will definitely properly thank you, Long Shu said with smile. What are you thanking me for? You gave me a Dragon Peach King, I should be thanking you. Of course, if the foreign void race wants to help you transfer the Heaven's Fate Dragon Lake, it will not be free. Qin Yun said with smile. I know, I will properly discuss with them. Long Shu nodded her head, then took out the Devil Mirror and contacted An Wukong. They will also arrange a time to meet. Long Shu finished smoking a cigarette and left in a hurry. Great Elder Ling found out that Long Shu has arrived and immediately went to find Qin Yun. Boss Qin, why did the female Dragon Queen come to find you? She contacted me previously and wanted to discuss something with me. Now, she suddenly said that she doesn't want to talk anymore. Great Elder Ling was also very concerned when he heard that Long Shu had entered the Ling residence. Grand Elder Ling was not surprised that such a female expert would walk into Qin Yun's residence. She originally wanted to discuss the matter of moving the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake. She said that there is a large piece of Divine Universe Amethyst under your Ling residence and wanted to ask how you plan to move it. Qin Yun said. Then why didn't she ask after that? Grand Elder Ling quickly said, I was just about to ask the All-Heaven Dragon race how they are going to move the Destiny Dragon Lake. I will introduce others to help them transfer, Qin Yun said with smile. Old Ling, can you transfer the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake? Grand Elder Ling immediately grabbed Qin Yun's arm and asked. Of course we can't move, that's why we have to find them. Boss Qin, who did you introduce to Dragon Queen Long Susu? Introduce them to me. They are experts in this field, Qin Yun said. Grand Elder Ling asked for An Wukong's contact information, then immediately transferred 500 million to Qin Yun. Then he quickly left to meet An Wukong. The foreign space race will naturally help, after all, this will allow them to earn some Divine Universe Golden Stones. Now that everyone lacks Divine Universe Golden Stones, the foreign space race thinks that a crisis is about to descend. Hoarding more Divine Universe Golden Stones is also good. Grand Elder Ling has already left. When Qin Yun wanted to eat Dragon Peach King, Ling Taiyun excitedly ran over. Brother-in-law, good news, good news. Ling Taiyun kept calling Qin Yun brother-in-law. He is very enthusiastic. What good news? Qin Yun secretly despised Ling Taiyun because his family master-father is seriously injured, yet this guy is still very happy. Those heaven-opening ancient race want to establish a sect. They want to start recruiting disciples. Because of my father, I was exempted from the assessment and joined the Imperial Heaven sect. This is a sect established by the Yu ancient race. Ling Taiyun pulled Qin Yun and said with smile, Brother-in-law, are you going? Imperial Heaven sect. Qin Yun said with frown. Do those heaven-opening ancient race each establish a sect? What kind of advantage does the Imperial Heaven sect have? Ling Taiyun said, The You ancient race has a very big advantage because they have a very strong You heavenly talisman. I heard that their You heavenly talisman can resist outer universe lifeforms. I investigated, the You ancient race has the most people coming back from outerverse, moreover they are also the strongest. Then apart from the Imperial Heaven sect, what other sects are there? Qin Yun did not find anything on the Devil Mirror. It means that this is only internal information. Heavenly Moon sect, Heavenly Moon ancient race. There is also the Qin ancient race's Heavenly Qin sect, Shao ancient race and Long ancient races sects. They don't have any but they should be coming soon. Brother-in-law, you are indeed a young divine king, but to be honest, you need to learn the heaven-opening ancient races method to quickly advance to divine space realm, as well as some pills, Ling Taiyun said. Qin Yun nodded. That's right, some of them have already reached high level of divine space realm, they have rich experience. Not only high level of divine space realm, I also heard that the heaven-opening ancient race people who came back from outerverse have surpassed divine space realm. As for what the situation is, I don't know. Ling Taiyun saw that Qin Yun also wants to go to the heaven-opening sect. He became even more excited. Ling Taiyun is very clear about his Ling family's current situation. Below the heaven-opening ancient race, his Ling family is indeed a hegemon. However, after entering the heaven-opening ancient races sect, he, Ling Taiyun, is just a fart. If he goes with Qin Yun, he can at least take care of him. Taisher also suggested Qin Yun to go because at present, everyone is in the same camp. They all have to fight against the outer universe lifeforms. What are the conditions to go to the Imperial Heaven sect? How did you get the exemption quota? Qin Yun asked. I already said, it's because of my father. My father has a good relationship with the You ancient race's emperor. Ling Taiyun mischievously laughed and said, Brother-in-law, your relationship with Yao Yao is not bad. You can ask her for the specific details and let her secretly help you. Qin Yun also plans to ask Yu Luanhui and Yu Yao Yao. Brother-in-law, I believe that you will definitely be able to enter the Imperial Heaven sect. When the time comes, we will go together and take care of each other. Ling Taiyun finished speaking and ran away. Qin Yun returned to his room, took out the magic mirror and contacted Yu Luanhui to ask about the Imperial Heaven sect. Boss, you want to go to the Imperial Heaven sect? That's very good. I heard that Great Divine King also wants to join a heaven-opening ancient race sect, but he won't come to the Imperial Heaven sect because not long ago, Great Divine King injured an elder of our Yu ancient race. Yu Luanhui is very happy to know that Qin Yun wants to go to the Imperial Heaven sect. Chapter 2833. Yu Luanhui also urged Qin Yun to come to the Imperial Heaven sect and guaranteed that Qin Yun wouldn't encounter any trouble there. Yu Luanhui, after you went back, did you hug onto some golden thigh? Qin Yun curiously asked because Yu Luanhui's confidence became more and more abundant. Among the ancestors who returned from the outerverse, there is one who is related to me by blood. He isn't too strong, but it's not a problem for him to suppress Yu Wanlong and the others. Boss, you have the Imperial Life Talisman in your hands. With your talent, you will definitely be able to grasp the other talismans very quickly. At that time, you will definitely be valued by the Yu family. Qin Yun is still a bit worried. After all, he is an outsider and it will be difficult for him to integrate into the Yu family. He asked, Is it really alright for me to go to the Imperial Heaven sect? The situation is different now. Our Yu ancient clan needs to quickly absorb all kinds of outstanding talent. You should know the reason very well. Yu Luanhui said, The other races' emperors will also join a heaven creation sect. It's nothing, we welcome them all. Qin Yun thought about it carefully and agreed that the heaven creation clan really needs to improve. They have the best understanding of the outerverse's power. They know that they alone can't resist the outerverse. They need to unite all the other clans to resist the outerverse's invasion. Alright, I will go. Alright, do you have any requirements? Qin Yun asked. 200 divine space power, that shouldn't be difficult for you, right? As long as you have 200 divine space power, everything will be fine. Yu Luanhui said. That's no problem. Qin Yun has already reached 200 divine universe power. After contacting Yu Luanhui, Qin Yun went to contact Yu Yaoyao, but he couldn't. It is very likely that she is cultivating in seclusion. Yu Yaoyao has a powerful 9-sun Kuanpeng, and her aptitude is also not bad. It is normal for her to be nurtured. At this time, Yu Shangyun contacted Qin Yun through the magic mirror. Yun, I want to join the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan's Heavenly Moon sect, Yu Shangyun said. Qin Yun was immediately taken aback. Yu Shangyun had directly revealed such shocking news, making him momentarily think that he had heard wrongly. Not long ago, Yu Shangyun had a conflict with the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan and had her divine moon stolen. Sister Shangyun, will the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan hold a grudge? Qin Yun was more worried about this. Don't be afraid. Among the elders of the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan that returned, there is an old lady. After she found out about our Divine Moon Clan situation, she took the initiative to find us. She is willing to accept our entire Divine Moon Clan. This old lady is very good and very strong, Yu Shangyun said. She had to inform Qin Yun that she was going to the Heavenly Moon Clan. After all, she knew that the Divine Moon Clan had a close relationship with Qin Yun. Furthermore, she, Yu Shangyun, was Qin Yun's woman. She had to let Qin Yun know her decision. What about Yu Xieji? Asked Qin Yun again. That old granny signed a soul contract with me, guaranteeing that our Divine Moon Clan would not be threatened again. She was very sincere, but I did not give her a definite answer. If she wants to join the Heavenly Moon sect, I need your permission, Yu Shangyun said again. Qin Yun was rather happy in his heart. After all, Yu Shangyun had him in her heart. How strong is that old granny? Qin Yun asked again. Among the ancestors of the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan that returned from the Outerverse, that old granny's strength is ranked second. The difference between her and the strongest is not that big. Yu Shangyun said. Yun, do you agree to let me go to the Heavenly Moon sect? If you don't agree, I will immediately reject her. I agree, but you must ask her to guarantee your safety. Guarantee that you will not be threatened, Qin Yun said. And this is also what I must do. Yu Shangyun's voice became a lot more relaxed. She wanted to go to the Heavenly Moon sect, but she was afraid that Qin Yun would not let her. What about Yuelon? Qin Yun asked. Yuelon wants to go to the Shao Ancient Clan. She wants to go on her own. That old granny introduced the Shao Ancient Clan's ancestors to take her, you can rest assured, Yu Shangyun said. This girl, why didn't she tell me? Sister Shangyun is still the best. Qin Yun curled his lips and said. Those ancestors of the heaven-opening ancient clan, when they were in the Outerverse, they were very united and knew the importance of unity. This time, they sincerely want to impart the cultivation experience of the divine space realm to us. Yuelon going to the Shao Ancient Clan sect, you don't have to worry at all. Yu Shangyun seems to be explaining on Shao Yuelon's behalf, afraid that Qin Yun would blame Shao Yuelon. Of course, Qin Yun is just saying it. He knows that Shao Yuelon will not make a rash decision. Yun, the Dark Moon and Blood Moon are still in the Heavenly Secrets sect. After I go to the Heavenly Moon sect, I will ask Granny Taiyue to help me save them. You don't have to worry about this matter anymore. Granny Taiyue also promised me that she will find Yu Xieji and the Heavenly Secrets sect master to discuss this matter, Yu Shangyun said again. After Qin Yun heard this, he felt a lot more at ease. However, he absolutely could not let the Heavenly Secrets sect off. The Heavenly Secrets sect's sinister nature will not change, especially at this time. They will definitely think of causing trouble. Furthermore, the Great Divine Lord's Alliance, the matter with the evil spirit zombies previously caused the deaths of a large number of people. That's good. Qin Yun sighed with emotion and said, "It has not been easy for your Divine Moon clan to come this far. Now you have finally found a great backer." "No, you are our backer. Our Divine Moon clan's 100 billion Divine Universe golden stones, we will give them all to you." Yu Shangyun seems to have just made a decision. "I'll leave it to you. The Heavenly Moon sect can't afford the cultivation resources of the entire Divine Moon clan. They will only give you directions and you will have to rely on yourself for resources." Qin Yun said with a smile, "I can solve my own cultivation resources, don't worry about me." "Alright then, we will keep it." "Oh right, do you want me to ask Granny Taiwe to introduce you to the Qin ancient clan? You have the same surname as them, it will be easier for you to blend in." Yu Shangyun also suggested that Qin Yun join a heaven opening sect. "I plan to go to the Yu ancient clan's Imperial Heaven sect. I can go there myself, there is no need to introduce me," Qin Yun said with a smile. Yu Shangyun is somewhat surprised that Qin Yun actually wants to go to the Yu ancient clan. However, when she thought about how Yu Yaoyao is in the Yu ancient clan, she felt a bit relieved. Her relationship with Yu Yaoyao is not bad, and she also knows that Qin Yun and Yu Yaoyao's relationship is extremely good. Yaoyao's future in the Imperial Heaven sect is boundless. She has bloodline heavenly rune in her body. I heard from Granny Taiwe that her bloodline heavenly rune is not simple, that's why she is so highly regarded. Yu Shangyun said. "Is that so? I can't contact her, so she might be cultivating," Qin Yun said in shock. "Then let's go and reply to Granny Taiwe first, then we'll contact each other." Yu Shangyun cut off contact with Qin Yun. Qin Yun is holding the magic mirror. He also knows that the situation has changed very quickly recently. After the ancestors of the Heaven Opening Ancient Clan returned, they created the Heaven Opening sect. All the local powerhouses of the Divine Desolate have joined one after another. Even Qin Yun and the Great Divine King want to enter a Heaven Opening sect to cultivate. Only like this can they become stronger. Please remember this book's domain name. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor Mobile Version website. Chapter 2834. Qin Yun is in his room, looking at the fragrant and delicious Dragon Peach King. He originally planned to eat it, but after thinking about it, he decided to eat it after entering the Imperial Heaven sect. Because even Taisher doesn't know if eating Dragon Peach King can increase divine cosmos power or not. If it can't, then it would be a waste of a precious Dragon Peach King. Even if no one in the Imperial Heaven sect knows, they can definitely give advice. Qin Yun took out the magic mirror and contacted Xiao Yuelon. "Yuelon, you want to go to the Xiao ancient clan? Why didn't you tell me?" Qin Yun said with smile. "Sister Shangyun wants to go to the Heavenly Moon sect, she told me. Didn't I come to find you to tell you about this?" Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. "Xiao Yun, do you want to come with me to the Xiao ancient clan? I will protect you." "Oh that's right, what about Sister Bingxing? Where is she? And Sister Kiru, Yu Tian and Yu Shi, they are all 9 Sun Divine Maidens. Why can't I contact any of them? Qin Yun also wants to meet them. Sister Bingxing is in the core of the 6th Divine Sunday. I don't know where Sister Kiru is. Yu Tian and Yu Shi are together, they have their own things to do," Xiao Yuelon said. "Yueme is coming out soon, when the time comes she will join the Xiao ancient clan with me." Qin Yun suddenly thought of the All Heavens dragon race. Maybe they will join the Dragon Ancient clan. When will Yueme come out? You said a long time ago that she would come out soon, but there is still no sign of her. Qin Yun curled his lips and said. Not long after, Xiao Yuelon arrived at the Ling residence and directly rushed into Qin Yun's room. Soon is soon, I also don't know when Yueme will come out. Xiao Yuelon giggled and finished speaking, then kissed Qin Yun. They have not seen each other for a while. Now that they have met, they are especially intimate and affectionate. Xiao Yuelon got up from the bed. pulled Qin Yun up and let him use runes to make hot water to wash his body. Xiao Yun, your cultivation speed is really fast. Your current divine cosmos power is very strong. How much is it now? Xiao Yuelan's jade fist lightly hammered Qin Yun's chest. I won't tell you, but the next time we meet, I will definitely catch up to you. Qin Yun pinched Xiao Yuelan's cheeks. Where is Dai Xin? Did you hide her on purpose? Xiao Yuelan pushed Qin Yun's hand away and said with hidden bitterness, I really want to meet the number one beauty of the Nine Sun Holy Land. She is cultivating, moreover, at the most crucial moment, if there is no accident, she will be able to transmit her bloodline heavenly rune to Sister Steamed Bun and others. Qin Yun said. Is that so? That's great. Xiao Yuelan said with smile. Oh, that's right, Xiao Yun, give me some king-grade cigarettes. I'll go to the Xiao ancient clan to give them to people. There must be many sisters in the Xiao ancient clan who smoke. I'll use them to build a good relationship with them. Humph, you are not allowed to bully them. Qin Yun poked her waist but still gave her a lot of king-grade indifferent smoke. Xiao Yuelan put on her clothes and kissed Qin Yun's lip. Then, she hastily left the Ling residence for the Xiao ancient clan. Originally, Qin Yun wanted to invite Ling Taiyun to go to Imperial Heaven Gate together, but Ling Taiyun has already left. After Qin Yun contacted Yu Luanhui, he did not expect Yu Luanhui to rush over immediately. Yu Luanhui smiled. Boss, after you come to the Imperial Heaven sect, you'll definitely be welcomed. Really? Is it because I'm too handsome? Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Oh, that's right, is there any girl more beautiful than Yao Yao in your Yu ancient clan? How is that possible? That little girl Yao Yao is now the pearl in the palm of those elders of Yu ancient clan, who dares to be more beautiful than her. That's because they don't want to mingle anymore. Yu Luanhui's smile became even more vulgar. Because he knows that Qin Yun and Yu Yao Yao have a good relationship, he also hinted that they should develop further. Qin Yun said, Is Yu ancient clan the least likely to reject me? After all, there were some unpleasant things that happened between us. No, you have the bloodline heavenly pattern box. Just based on this, they will welcome you very much. Boss, don't worry about them stealing your bloodline heavenly pattern box. Yu Luanhui said. Why don't I worry? I'm very worried about this. Qin Yun said. The elders who came back from the Outerverse said that the bloodline heavenly pattern box is an ominous item. Only those with a tough life won't die from it. Even if you give it to them, they might not want it, but they want to use you to study the bloodline heavenly pattern box. Yu Luanhui said as he walked out of the Ling mansion with Qin Yun. This surprised Qin Yun. The elders of Heaven Opening Clan actually have this kind of attitude towards the bloodline heavenly pattern box. Qin Yun felt a lot more relaxed and asked, Is the Imperial Heaven Gate built? Where is it? Is it safe? It's near Nine Sun Sacred Ground, a bit far from here. We will first teleport to the city of Yu Ancient Clan in God Desolate and then to the Imperial Heaven Gate outside of Nine Sun Sacred Ground. Yu Luanhui said. What? It's built outside of the Imperial Heaven Gate? Qin Yun jumped in fright. The heaven-splitting ancient clan built this sect to guard the Nine Sun Sacred Ground and prevent them from coming out. Although many powerful races have run inside Myriad Realms' divine sun, God Desolate has a lot of resources, we can't give up. Yu Luanhui said. Qin Yun sighed. Who wants to give up? Isn't this not enough to stop those foreign beings? It's still possible to stop them. It's not easy to open a passage from inside Nine Sun Sacred Ground. Nine Sun Law Spirit sealed Nine Sun Sacred Ground very well before. Now that the sixth divine sun has appeared, the seal has been strengthened, so there won't be many passages. Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun to the Yu family city. Then they walked to an even bigger teleportation formation. Qin Yun doesn't know much about Nine Sun Sacred Ground seal because he has never been there before. Now, he is about to leave Nine Sun Sacred Ground. The former emperor of Extreme Sky Clan, who was also the patriarch of Ling family, was injured inside Nine Sun sacred ground. Oh right, do you know which heaven-opening sect the great divine lord will join? Qin Yun is very curious. I don't know for now, but I heard that he has contact with the Yang ancient clan. Maybe it's the Yang ancient clan. Yu Luanhui said. He has already brought Qin Yun to the teleportation formation. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun arrived outside Nine Sun sacred ground. Arriving here, he saw what seemed to be a very thick golden screen of light in the distance. The golden light screen is very tall, as if it connects heaven and earth. Golden mist surged inside. That is the barrier that seals Nine Sun sacred ground. The situation inside is very complicated, Yu Luanhui said. The elders of the heaven-opening ancient clan have already joined hands to seal several passages. They can still stabilize for a period of time. Qin Yun looked at the barrier in a daze. He can feel that several myriad realms' divine sun have released a lot of divine power and gathered on the barrier. If not for the myriad realms' divine sun, this barrier would have disintegrated very quickly. However, the Nine Sun evil spirit is extremely harmful to the myriad realms' divine sun. What do your ancestors think of the Nine Sun evil spirit? Qin Yun asked. They know about this, but they didn't say anything. Yu Luanhui shook his head and said, Boss, let's go, I'll take you to register. Please remember this book's domain name. 9 Heaven Divine Emperor Mobile Version website. Chapter 2835. Qin Yun followed behind Yu Luanhui and looked around, looking at the Imperial Heaven Gate they are at. The Imperial Heaven Gate is very flat and has very dense myriad realms divine sun power. The entire Imperial Heaven Gate can be said to be almost finished. On the road, Qin Yun saw many puppets made of metal. They are currently busy with the last bit of work. The Imperial Heaven Gate's buildings are relatively short. The tallest is only around 10 floors. Moreover, there are very few tall buildings, most of them are 2 or 3 floors. Compared to those big cities that have hundreds or even thousands of floors, this is very short. Qin Yun also saw many people coming to sign up. There are humans and also other powerful races. And the majority of them are non-human races. For a true human to grow to the divine space realm, it would take an extremely long time. As for those powerful races, the majority of them were born with extremely high cultivation. As long as their aptitude wasn't too poor, they would be able to step into the divine space realm. Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun to a very large house. The lobby here is very spacious. There are no luxurious decorations. After all, the Imperial Heaven Gate is just outside Nine Sun Holy Land. If a war breaks out, it will definitely be destroyed. So the buildings here are not very exquisite. Yu Luanhui helped Qin Yun sign up, gave him a golden crystal card and said, Boss, when the time comes, I will inform you to test your divine space power. You should have 200 divine space power, right? 208. Qin Yun said. That's pretty good, I only have 230. Yu Luanhui knew that Qin Yun's cultivation has just broken through recently. Generally speaking, the divine space power of someone who just entered divine space realm would not be very high, at most a few tens. When Qin Yun announced his divine space realm, he had just broken through. And now, not too long has passed and he already has 200. His cultivation speed can be said to be very fast. Those ancestors that came back from the outerverse, how is their divine space power? Qin Yun asked curiously. I also don't know, in short, it's very high. I only know that the youngsters that came back with their ancestors all have 780 divine space power, some even have 1,000. Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun out of the registration hall and said in low voice, They are all very strong. Moreover, their killing intent is very strong, they must have fought frequently. If they often fought with outer space beings, then it would definitely be like this. Then are they easy to talk to? Qin Yun asked again. It's all right. If you ask about foreign creatures, they'll patiently answer. Yu Luanhui said, Boss, I'll bring you to find my backer. Yu Luanhui suddenly sped up and walked towards the west side of the gate. The Imperial Heaven Gate was very big, like a giant city. It was surrounded by several circles of array pillars, and in the center of the Imperial Heaven Gate, there were also 2 circles of array pillars. The defensive barrier of the entire Imperial Heaven Gate must be very strong. Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun flying in the sky and arrived at a manor in the West District. They entered a simple decorated living room. The buildings in the manor were mainly made of stone. They looked simple and crude, but there was an inexplicable sense of security after entering the interior. Not long after, Qin Yun and Yu Luanhui, who were drinking tea, saw a tall, long-bearded elder walk in with a smile. The long-bearded old man had a warm smile on his face, but his white robe was dyed with red and green liquid. Although it was completely dry, it could be seen that it was of very special blood. This old man is Yu Luanhui's backer. His name is Yu Qi. He looks like a very easy to communicate with old man. Senior, what happened to you? Yu Luanhui saw the blood on Yu Qi's robe and asked in shock. I just came back from Nine Sun Holy Land. I killed a few things and then quickly rushed back. I didn't have time to change my clothes. Yu Qi laughed, then looked at Qin Yun and said, Yu Luanhui, this is the young divine King Qin Yun you were talking about, right? Hello senior, this junior is indeed Qin Yun. Qin Yun simply greeted with a smile. Yu Luanhui promptly nodded his head. Senior, I have already helped him register. His divine cosmos power has reached 208. He should be able to pass the assessment, right? Yu Qi slightly frowned and said, 208 divine cosmos power? Senior, this is not strange, right? Boss Qin's talent is not bad, moreover he is also a young divine king. It is very normal for him to be able to step into the first layer of divine cosmos realm. Moreover, he was the one who told Great Fire about divine cosmos realm cultivation. Yu Luanhui said. No, I can sense that his divine cosmos power has not reached the first layer of divine cosmos realm. His divine cosmos power does not have a nucleus, it is very easy to sense. Yu Qi finished speaking and took out a mirror. This mirror is very similar to the one Qin Yun refined and sold before, but it was not refined by him. What? His godly space without a nucleus reached 208? Yu Luanhui was shocked when he heard this. Little brother, please cooperate with the test. Yu Qi can sense that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power is at least above 180. If one has not stepped into the first layer of divine cosmos realm, then having 180 divine cosmos power is very rare. Because 100 divine cosmos power is the limit. After reaching 100 divine cosmos power, one either has to step into the first layer of divine cosmos realm or continuously break through the limits of the body so that the divine cosmos power inside the body can contain even more divine cosmos power. Generally speaking, those who have not stepped into the first layer of divine cosmos realm with 150 divine cosmos power are well-known figures. They are as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. But Qin Yun actually reached 200. Even Yu Qi, who has cultivated for many years in the divine cosmos realm, has rarely seen this kind of case. Qin Yun immediately cooperated with Yu Qi to test. The mirror shows 210 divine cosmos power. Yu Qi saw this number and his expression abruptly changed. How is this possible? Yu Qi still does not dare to believe this is true. Yu Luanhui's mouth is also wide open. He previously thought that Qin Yun had 200 divine cosmos power and had stepped into the first layer of divine cosmos realm. But now he found out that Qin Yun has not even stepped into the first layer of divine cosmos realm. Your testing tool is not accurate. I tested it myself, only 208. Qin Yun said. You. How did you refine 108 divine cosmos golden tendons? Yuqi's eyes are like lightning as he stared at Qin Yun. His face is filled with ecstasy. Divine cosmos golden tendons? What is that? Yuluan Hui said in shock. I managed to cultivate it by accident. Maybe it is because I have super heaven divine body. Qin Yun said. Yes, if you have super heaven divine body, then cultivating divine cosmos golden tendons would be much easier. But this is still inconceivable. Yuqi sighed and said, generally speaking, only when you reach the third layer of divine cosmos realm can you refine 108 divine cosmos golden tendons. But you already completed it long ago. Yuluanhui hurriedly said, Senior, then can Boss Qin pass the test? Yuqi said with smile, of course he can. If he steps into the first layer of divine cosmos realm, he might be able to increase by 50 to 60 divine cosmos power. His upper limit in the first layer of divine cosmos realm is much higher than others. Chapter 28:36. Yuluan Hui knows that Qin Yun is very awesome, that's why he pulled him to Imperial Heaven Sect. He can foresee that Qin Yun will soon shine in Imperial Heaven Sect. Boss, after you break through, won't you be stronger than me? Yuluan Hui recalled that Qin Yun has 208 divine cosmos power. If he breaks through and erupts with several dozen, it is very scary. So many people have 100 divine cosmos power and can't wait to break through. Their upper limit is also bound to be 500. Qin Yun's upper limit is 600, maybe even 700, maybe even higher. It means that he can go further than others, and he has to consume a lot of resources, otherwise how can he be stronger than others? Even if this little brother doesn't break through, with his current body strength, without relying on divine tools and heavenly talismans, he is stronger than you. Yuqi said with smile. He has always been stronger than me by a lot. Yuluan Hui patted his head, otherwise he wouldn't call Qin Yun boss. Yuqi is taller than Qin Yun but his body is not as sturdy as Qin Yun. He patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with smile. Little brother, you can stay in Imperial Heaven Sect with peace of mind. With me here, no one will steal your bloodline heavenly pattern box. Really? Many people came to find trouble with me to steal my box and Divine King Heavenly Seal. I had no choice but to fight them. Qin Yun sighed and said, whether it is Bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box or Divine King Heavenly Seal, we are not interested. If they are not ours, even if we get them, we won't be able to use them. Instead, we will bring disaster upon ourselves. Yuqi's expression became serious and said, Little brother, you have these things and are still alive, it means your life is tough. These things can't kill you, so they belong to you. Qin Yun did not expect that these returning ancestors of Heaven Opening Ancient Clan would not be interested in Bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box and Divine King Heavenly Seal. But they must have seen even stronger things, or maybe they are already very strong, so they don't care about these things. Senior, I have a Dragon Peach King. Qin Yun gave a simple explanation of the Dragon Peach King before asking, do you think I can increase my divine cosmos power after eating it? At this time, Yuluan Hui also took out the elegant smoke and gave it to Yuqi. Yuqi took a puff, then put the cigarette in his mouth and took the Dragon Peach King. He took out a red compass, as though he was inspecting the Dragon Peach King. Inspection. He took a deep puff and exhaled after a long time. I never expected that my bloodline heavenly runes would evolve to this level. The Dragon Peach Divine Tree indeed grew because of bloodline heavenly rune. Qin Yun nodded and said, Senior, how about this Dragon Peach King? Only eat it after it's refined. According to my judgment, the unique divine power contained in the Dragon Peach King can further excavate the potential of one's body. It can strengthen one's body, and from there, increase one's divine universe energy. Yuqi frowned and said, This kind of thing should be eaten before stepping into the first tier of the divine space realm, only then will it have the best effect. In other words, it's most suitable for me to eat it now? Qin Yun was pleasantly surprised. Not bad. Do you want me to help you find an alchemist to refine the pill? Yu Qi said. After refining the pill, the effect will increase even more. Many thanks, Senior. I can refine pills myself. There is no need to trouble Senior. Qin Yun said with a smile. Yu Qi nodded and said, I have a quiet room here, you can stay here. Alright. Qin Yun followed Yu Qi to a quiet and spacious room. After entering, he closed the heavy door and took out the pill transformation heavenly furnace. Outside, Yu Luanhui said in low voice, Senior, after boss eats that fruit, how much will his upper limit of divine universe energy increase? I don't know, this person is indeed a genius. No wonder he is a young divine king. Nine Sun Law Spirit has high hopes for him. Yu Qi sighed with emotion and said, I don't know to what extent he will grow in the future. Boss said that if 9 Sun Law Spirit split into a 9 Sun Evil Spirit, will it cause harm to Divine Desolate? Yu Luanhui is also very worried about this matter, especially now that 9 Sun Holy Land is filled with foreign creatures. 9 Sun Evil Spirit is temporarily silent because it knows that if it continues to cause chaos in Divine Desolate, even it won't be able to survive. Once the foreign creatures come out, the myriad realms' divine sun will fall sooner or later. Yu Qi is standing beside the window, looking at the myriad realms' divine sun in the sky. His deep eyes are filled with worry. He is smoking and staring at the myriad realms' divine sun in the sky. Yu Luanhui asked again, Senior, will my boss receive any preferential treatment in the Imperial Sky Gate? Yu Qi shook his head. There won't be any preferential treatment unless he is a descendant of the ancient Yu clan and is recognized by all the elders. In the Imperial Sky Gate, the only way to obtain resources is through strength. Then what is Yao Yao's situation now? She is boss's friend and they have a pretty good relationship. Yu Luanhui saw that Yu Qi's cigarette is almost finished, so he immediately handed over another one. Yao Yao's bloodline heavenly pattern is very strong, we have never seen it before. It might be due to the mutation of the myriad realms' divine sun, or the mutation of her Kuanpeng, or all sorts of complicated factors that contributed to it by chance. Yu Qi sighed. There are many changes in this world, especially in Divine Desolate. No one can predict it. I see. That means that Yu Xingyu really has a good daughter. Yu Luanhui is a little jealous. We've returned from the outerverse, and we've been illuminated by the myriad worlds' divine Sunday. We've also sensed that something is different. This is a good change, so no matter what, we have to protect this land. The divine wilderness of the heavens and the divine sun of the myriad realms could make them stronger in the future. Institute as a result, the ancestors of the heaven-splitting ancient clan came to an agreement to guide the living beings of the divine wilderness to become stronger. They would work together to defend the divine wilderness. Yu Luanhui looked at the door of Qin Yun's room and said in low voice, Even though boss is a little divine king, he is much better than that great divine king. I really don't understand why there would be a grand divine king. This was a competition between the 9 Suns Law Spirit and the 9 Suns Evil Spirit. It was because the 9 Suns Evil Spirit had the upper hand that the divine king he pushed out was called the Great Divine King. Therefore, there is no real distinction between big and small, only between strong and weak. Yu Qi said, since he came to the Imperial Heaven Gate, he must be prepared to die. Let's see if he dares to enter the 9 Sun sacred ground. Yu Luanhui said in shock. Senior, boss is a little divine king, isn't letting him enter the 9 Sun sacred ground the same as throwing away his life? Yu Qi's expression is solemn and cold, he said. As long as he joins the Imperial Heaven Gate and becomes a disciple, he must go. Then what about me? Yu Luanhui shivered. I already said, As long as you are a member of the Imperial Heaven Gate, you must enter the Nine Suns sacred ground to kill the enemy, Yuchi said coldly. Chapter 28:37. Yuluanhui was still very afraid of death, especially when he knew that someone with more than 1,000 divine cosmic force could be beaten to a pulp in the Nine Suns sacred ground. The outside world was like that. Creatures from the outside world could kill undying and indestructible souls. If they went inside, they might really die. Their souls couldn't escape at all. Samsara suddenly regretted entering the Imperial Heaven Gate. He couldn't help but feel nervous. He continued to smoke and no longer spoke. He sat in the hall in a daze, waiting for Qin Yun to come out. He wanted to see how much Qin Yun's divine cosmos force could increase in the end. Qin inside the room, Yun took out the refined pills and ate them. At the same time, he placed the God King heavenly seal into his divine universe. The Grand Prime had said that doing so would allow the godly King Heaven Seal to release divine power to help him refine the energy of the pill. Qin at the same time Yun ate that pill. The Divine King Heavenly Seal also released a special divine power that flowed in his body. No, not long after, Qin Yun felt the 108 Divine Universe golden tendons in his body suddenly tremble. To be precise, it was as if they were breathing as they frantically absorbed the energy of the Dragon Peach King pill. Qin Yun, your 108 Divine Universe golden tendons are absorbing the Dragon Peach King pill's energy and strengthening, Taisher said. Then does this require the consumption of Divine Universe golden stones? Qin Yun still has some Divine Universe golden stones in his hands, but he wants to use them sparingly. No need. After the Divine Universe golden tendons were condensed, they were extremely thin and fragile. They needed to be strengthened. However, he needed the power of the nucleus in order to make the Divine Universe golden tendons even thicker. Now, the power of the Dragon Peach King pill can thicken your golden Divine Universe tendons. This can increase the upper limit of your Divine Universe force. Yun was secretly overjoyed. If he really succeeded, then the upper limit of his divine cosmic force would definitely reach an astonishing degree. No, not to mention, the Dragon Peach King was truly a mystical divine fruit with shocking effects. A tiny divine fruit was able to gradually thicken the tiny Divine Universe golden tendons in his body. Qin Yun could feel that his super heaven divine body was being connected by the thick and solid Divine Universe golden tendons. It was being stretched taut, making him feel that his body was becoming stronger and he could erupt with even greater strength. This Qin Yun took an entire day to cultivate. Not after that, a lot of filth and impurities were expelled from his body. After Yun washed himself clean, he adjusted his state and then went to check the upper limit of his divine cosmos force. The upper limit is 300 Divine Universe force. Qin Yun was shocked. At first, he thought that it would be great if he could increase it by a few dozen points. Even if it was only a dozen or 20 points, he would still be very happy. No. Thinking about it, it had improved so much. This really surprised him. The upper limit of his divine cosmos force was 300, but now he only had 180, so he was not in a hurry to fill it up. If it was instantly filled up, it would consume over 100 million Divine Universe golden stones. Such as since he wasn't in a rush, it would be good to replenish his energy. Qin Yun changed into a set of clean white clothes and walked out of the room. At Yuchi, who has been waiting outside for a day, saw Qin Yun come out. He immediately stood up from his chair in shock and arrived in front of Qin Yun in the blink of an eye. You have stepped into the first firmament of the Divine Universe realm? Addict, you could roughly sense the upper limits of Qin Yun's Divine Universe power. He estimated that the upper limit of Qin Yun's divine cosmic force was 260 to 270. This growth was too shocking, so he subconsciously thought that Qin Yun had stepped into the first tier of the divine space realm. Qin Yun shook his head and said with smile. No, I refined a pill according to Senior's instructions. After eating it, my divine cosmic force increased by a lot. Yu Luanhui, who was at the side, immediately smoked a cigarette to suppress his shock. Because he saw Addict Yu's reaction, he knew that the upper limit of Qin Yun's divine cosmic force was definitely higher. Addict Yu promptly took out a testing mirror and let Qin Yun test it. Qin Yun placed his hand on the mirror. Only not long after, a number 302 appeared on the mirror. His mirror was not very accurate, it was a bit higher. Although Luanhui was already mentally prepared, he was still shocked and let out a strange cry. The cigarette in his mouth fell out. This is really unbelievable. Addict Yu was shocked to the extreme. Qin Yun said, Senior, do you think it is suitable for me to step into the first level of the divine space realm? Not even stepping into the first level of the divine space realm. He already has 300 divine universe power. If he stepped into the first level of the divine space realm, how terrifying would it be? At that time, Qin Yun would have a nucleus with 300 divine universe power. Adding the increase in the upper limit, his divine cosmic force would be even more terrifying. Let's talk about it after the assessment. Addict Yu said, during the assessment, see if the supervising elder can see that you have not stepped into the first level of the divine space realm. Why? Yu Luanhui is somewhat puzzled. Not stepping into the first level of the divine space realm means that he is a blank piece of paper. Everyone hopes to guide this kind of good seedling in cultivation. When the time comes, he will definitely be in high demand. Addict Yu said with smile. Little brother, when the time comes, you should find the strongest elder. Ah? Senior, can boss really let an elder personally guide him? Yu Luanhui said in shock. Didn't they say that the teachers chosen by the new disciples are all at the third or fourth level of the divine space realm? Your boss is not an ordinary new disciple. Although he is not as good as Yao Yao, he is enough to move the hearts of those elders. Addict Yu said with smile. Yu Luanhui already picked up the cigarette, took a drag and said with smile. Boss is boss, this is too good. With Qin Yun, he will definitely be able to eat and drink well if he follows Qin Yun. Before you officially become a disciple of Imperial Heaven Sect, I have to tell you that once you become an official disciple, you will have to enter Nine Sun Holy Land to kill enemies. Are you afraid? Addict Yu asked with serious expression. What is there to be afraid of? Qin Yun faintly smiled. I came to Imperial Heaven Sect to become stronger and enter Nine Sun Holy Land to kill enemies. Addict Yu said with smile. That's good, many people come to Imperial Heaven Sect to become stronger but they don't want to enter Nine Sun Holy Land to kill enemies. We don't want this kind of people. Senior, when the time comes, can you arrange for me and boss to enter Nine Sun Holy Land? I will follow boss, this way we can take care of each other. Yu Luanhui said with smile. This is your own arrangement. In short, you will have to enter Nine Sun Holy Land from time to time and kill enough foreign creatures to come back. Addict Yu said. Qin Yun is even more expectant. He has long since wanted to enter Nine Sun Holy Land to investigate. Senior Yu Qi, have you heard of Granny Taiyue? Qin Yun suddenly thought of this matter and asked. Of course I have, she is a big shot, one of the strongest big shots of Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan. She is a very good person, she even saved us before. Addict Yu replied. I have a friend who is with Granny Taiyue. Qin Yun felt a lot relieved. What kind of friend can attract Granny Taiyue's attention? Your friend is definitely not ordinary. Addict Yu said with slight amazement. Qin the friend Yun is talking about is Yu Shangyun. Not only Yu Shangyun, the entire Divine Moon Clan will be taken care of by Granny Taiyue. Just as Qin Yun was about to reply, the earth suddenly shook. Not good, another passage has appeared. After Yu Qi finished speaking, he disappeared and quickly rushed out. Chapter 28:38. Qin Yun and Yu Luanhui also understood why Yu Qi didn't change his blood-stained clothes, because he is going to fight at any time. Seniors are really busy. It seems like they really want to protect Divine Desolate. Yu Luanhui sighed. Great Divine King and those guys from Heavenly Court don't really want to protect Divine Desolate. Qin Yun nodded and said, not only do we have to guard against foreign beings, we also have to guard against Heavenly Court. I heard Senior Yu Qi say that heaven-opening ancient race wants to take over Heavenly Court, but they only have this idea. Yu Luanhui lit a cigarette and looked outside with melancholy. His current divine cosmos power was very low. Although he could improve very quickly after entering the first tier of the divine cosmos realm after taking some medicinal pills, he was still very weak when facing foreign lifeforms. He also doesn't know when he will be forcefully sent to fight in Nine Sun Holy Land. Just thinking about it makes him feel great pressure. Nine Sun Holy Land is full of danger. Everyone knows that even people with divine cosmos power over 1,000 can be killed inside. Thinking about this, Yu Luanhui can only keep smoking and use the happiness brought by the smoke to drown his worries. Qin Yun is not afraid because his divine cosmos power is already 300. If he enters first level of divine space realm, his divine cosmos power will increase by a lot. Moreover, his divine space golden tendons have been cultivated very well. After eating Dragon Peach King pill, it became even thicker. Yu Luanhui, when will the assessment begin? What is the process? Qin Yun asked. The Imperial Heaven Gate is not finished yet, but it will soon accept applications. At this stage, we are only accepting applications by invitation. Are you ancient races people are inviting others to sign up? In 3 days, you will be the first batch to sign up and you will be able to participate in the assessment. Yu Luanhui said. Qin Yun thought of Ling Taiyun. He feels that Ling Taiyun is only signing up and not a true Imperial Heaven Gate disciple. Boss, I want to change my body and make myself look younger. I will follow you from now on. Yu Luanhui said with mischievous smile. Alright. When the assessment begins, inform me and bring me there. Qin Yun said with smile. Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun away from Yu Qi's residence and arrived at the outermost area of the Imperial Heaven Gate. This area was the residence of the people who had signed up for the tournament. It was in the outer area of the east. The central area of the Imperial Heaven Gate was surrounded by a barrier formed by array pillars. It was a very core area and Yu Qi lived in this area. Only by becoming an official disciple and possessing sufficient strength could one enter the inner area. After Yu Luanhui brought Qin Yun here, he hurriedly left. He is an official disciple. He also has a residence in the inner region, but he only has one room, so he cannot let Qin Yun stay. Naturally, Qin Yun can also continue staying in Yu Qi's mansion. He is afraid that it will be inconvenient to stay there, so he came out. In his room, Qin Yun used the magic mirror to contact Xiao Yuelon. Yuelon, how are you doing with the Xiao ancient clan? They won't bully you, right? Asked Qin Yun. I'm doing very well. I'm eating and drinking well. I am now with an old granny. She is Granny Taiyue's good sister. She loves me like a granddaughter. When Yueme comes, she will also love Yueme. Xiao Yuelon said with smile. Xiao Yun, why don't you also come to Xiao ancient clan? Qin Yun has already arrived at the Imperial Heaven sect. Moreover, Yu ancient clan is even stronger, so he doesn't plan to leave. I am at the Imperial Heaven sect, just outside the Nine Sun Holy Ground. Qin Yun said. Yuelon, is the Xiao ancient clan's sect not done yet? It is being built. It is also outside the Nine Sun Holy Ground. I heard Granny say that all the heaven-opening ancient clan will guard different areas of the Nine Sun Holy Ground. When their sect is finished, I will also go outside the Nine Sun Holy Ground. Xiao Yuelon said. Then when the time comes, we will enter the Nine Sun Holy Ground and kill the enemies together. Qin Yun said with smile. All right, you must quickly become stronger, Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. Wait until we meet next time, you will know how powerful your little husband is. Qin Yun proudly laughed. Don't be complacent, my progress is also very fast. Enough talk, I will go cultivate. Xiao Yuelon also wants to become stronger, so she no longer said anything to Qin Yun. Qin Yun contacted the Divine Judge and learned that he has already contacted many ancestors of the Heaven Opening Ancient Clan and obtained their support. The Heaven Opening Ancient Clan will send people to the Myriad Realms Divine Court to pass down some cultivation technique. Furthermore, their sects will also accept the gods of the Myriad Realms Divine Court. For example, Xie Wufeng went to the Heavenly Qin sect of the Qin Ancient Clan. It is said that the Heavenly Qin sect has very strong sword cultivators, that is why he went. Qin Yun contacted Xie Wufeng and learned that he is also outside the Nine Sun Holy Ground. However, he is in a different direction, quite far from where he is. There is no teleportation formation connecting to the Nine Sun Holy Ground. Soon after, Qin Yun asked An Wukong. Long Shu and Great Elder Ling both looked for him to discuss the matter of moving. An Wukong can move the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake, but Long Shu later said that there is no need to move it. Great Elder Ling also agreed to let An Wukong help move the huge Divine Universe Amethyst under their Ling Mansion. Qin Yun immediately contacted Long Shu and asked, Queen Long Shu, why don't you move the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake? The Dragon Ancient Clan told us not to move it, they will help us settle it. Long Shu smiled and said, Boss Qin, the Ancient Dragon Clan, has created a sect called the Dragon Gate. Are you coming? Come with me, I will take care of you. Qin Yun knows that the dragon race will definitely cooperate with the Dragon Ancient Clan. I am in the Imperial Heaven sect, Qin Yun said with smile. Oh? That's good. Dragon Sect and Imperial Heaven Sect are both outside the Nine Sun Holy Ground. Maybe we will have the opportunity to fight side by side in the future. Me and the little monkey are already in the Dragon Sect, Long Shu said. Long Shu, I remember there was a Dragon Tree Fairy. Where did that little guy go? Qin Yun asked. That little guy is always following me. He is just sleeping all day. Let's not talk anymore. I want to enter the Nine Sun Holy Ground with a group. After entering, I won't be able to contact the outside. Long Shu said with smile. What? You want to go in so quickly? Qin Yun said in shock. I just want to go in and take a look. There are many big shots with divine cosmos power in the group. There is no need for a small shrimp like me to take action. I want to go in and familiarize myself with the environment, Long Shu said. After Qin Yun and Long Shu ended their conversation, he promptly took out the Imperial Heavenly Talisman's atlas. He wants to quickly master these formidable Imperial Heavenly Talismans. The Yu Ancient Clan has the highest survival rate in the Outerverse. It is highly possible that they are relying on these Imperial Heavenly Talismans. Qin Yun learned from Yu Luanhui that although the ancestors of the Yu Ancient Clan have returned, there are still very few Imperial Heavenly Talismans. It can be seen that creating Imperial Heavenly Talismans is very difficult. Old Brother Taisher, the runes of Imperial Heavenly Talismans shouldn't be difficult for you, right? Qin Yun took out the Divine Mirror of Primal Beginning and asked. Chapter 2839. Qin Yun has been studying this book for some time, but too many things happened later on, causing him to fall behind. Now that he continues to study it, he can take it up again. He knows Taisher's ability, so he asked to see if he can let Taisher help him quickly master it. Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman's runes originate from Bloodline Heavenly Runes. However, those Bloodline Heavenly Runes were produced by ancient Yu Clan later on. They are not the earliest Bloodline Heavenly Runes. Even I need to study them for a period of time before I can master them. Put those books into the Divine Mirror of Primal Beginning and let me study them. Really? How long will it take? Qin Yun is very pleasantly surprised. He did not expect Taisher to actually be able to study these complicated runes. I don't know, it will take some time. Qin Yun immediately placed the atlas into the divine mirror of primordial beginning. Several atlas of the Yu family heavenly talismans were handed over to Grand Beginning. If Taisher can master them, he can immediately pass them on to Qin Yun. Qin Yun thought about how he doesn't need to study those incomparably profound Yu clan heavenly talisman and feels very relaxed. He took out the pill transformation heavenly furnace and placed some divine universe golden stones inside. He wants to refine some powerful divine universe golden bullet. If they were together, divine universe golden bullets could easily pierce through enemies, but now it is very difficult to deal with divine space realm experts. As long as one enters the divine space realm and tempered their body with divine power, they can block divine universe golden bullet. The previous divine universe golden bullets are too weak. I need to refine some stronger ones. Although Taisher is studying the Imperial Heavenly Talisman, he can still communicate with Qin Yun. He is not even affected. Old brother Taisher, let me tell you about the Divine Universe Golden Bullets. Qin Yun took out the Divine King Spear and began explaining its attack method. After Taisher finished speaking, he said, "If we only fuse a small amount of Dragon Peach Stone, its strength is far from enough. Then what about Evil Corpse King's scales? Qin Yun still has many Evil Corpse King scales. I calculated, a Divine Universe Golden Bullet refined from 100 million Divine Universe Golden Stones can penetrate a being with 100 Divine Universe power. And this is not even including their armor." Taisher said. "What?" Qin Yun is startled. He also thought that if he wanted to replenish 100 Divine Universe force, he would need 100 million Divine Universe metal stones. "Can this God King Spear of yours push out a bullet made from 100 million Divine Universe metals? I can use the God King Heavenly Seal to bestow upon the God King Spear an even stronger ability. It can increase the might of the Divine Universe Golden Bullets by several times. In this way, a golden bullet refined from 100 million golden stones would be able to pierce through someone with a divine cosmic force of 500. But your godly monarch spear can't take it. Your weapon's attack line is good, but its strength can't keep up," Taisher said. "Alright then, it seems like I can only wait until I find more good materials in the future and strengthen them before using them." Qin Yun still had many divine weapons and divine tools in his hands, but if he went to the Nine Sun Sacred Land, he wouldn't be able to keep up. Not only were the extraterrestrial beings powerful, but the weapons and armors they used were also very powerful. If he wanted to fight against extraterrestrial beings, it would be impossible to use the divine weapons and divine artifacts that he currently possessed. During the battle, it wouldn't matter if those divine weapons and divine artifacts were destroyed. What was fatal was that they wouldn't be able to be used at the critical moment. Qin Yun thought about it and felt that only the Imperial Life Heavenly Talisman could be of use. He already has an Imperial Life Heavenly Talisman on him. He doesn't know how long it would be able to last against extraterrestrial beings. In these 2 days, all the great heaven-opening ancient clans announced that they had established sections. If one wanted to quickly progress in the Divine Universe realm, one could register to participate in the assessment and join their sections. The 8 heaven-opening ancient clans guarded the 8 directions of the Nine Sun Sacred Land and established sections. They also clearly said that if one joined their sects, they would need to enter the Nine Sun Sacred Land to kill enemies. Some sects, in order to attract more people, even announced the famous experts that they had invited to register. For example, the Great Divine Lord went to the Yang Ancient Clan's sect. There was also the Sun En Race Emperor, Law Enforcement Realm King and the Heaven Secrets Sect Master. And the Heaven's Dragon Emperor brought all the outstanding experts of the Heaven's Dragon race to join the Dragon Ancient Clan's Dragon sect. The Qin ancient clan had Sword God and the 9 Sun Sacred Lands Jian family expert. The Shao ancient clan had 9 Sun Divine Lady Shao Yuelon. The Heavenly Moon ancient clan had the Divine Moon clan emperor and the Bright Moon sect master. The ancient Beast Blood clan had recruited many famous beast-type clans. They all had clan emperors, such as the Mad Sun Tiger clan, the 9 Sun Tiger clan, the Heavenly Lion clan, and so on. The Qi ancient clan had a large number of fairies joining, because there was a very powerful fairy in the Qi ancient clan. On the Yu ancient clan's side, there was the Ling family patriarch, who was previously the Great Heaven clan emperor. Many people were also concerned about which sect Qin Yun went to. Some people suspected that it was in the Qin ancient clan, but they did not announce it. So Ling Taiyun didn't need to take the assessment. He joined the Imperial Heaven sect with his father. Qin Yun did not expect that. Ling Taiyun did not mention it to him. It was obviously to keep it a secret. After learning about this, many people went to the major cities and used the teleportation formation to go to the major Heaven Opening sect. Although the Heaven Opening sects were located outside of the 9 Sun Holy Land, the 9 Sun Holy Land was very big. Therefore, each Heaven Opening sect was very far away from each other. The 9 Sun Holy Land had a very strong barrier. This was a seal placed by the myriad world divine suns. This seal was very strong at the moment. However, the creatures from the outside were not weak either. From time to time, they would open a passage. At this time, they needed to seal their passage. Those passages could not be sealed in a short period of time. A large number of creatures from the outside would come out. At this time, they needed to guard outside and exterminate them. Qin Yun now had 300 divine space power. He had not entered the first layer of the divine space realm. This kind of foundation was very rare. Therefore, he was confident that he could pass the assessment. The time for the assessment arrived very quickly. Yuluan Hui also arrived on time. He went with Qin Yun to the inner region of the Imperial Heaven sect to take the simple assessment. Although the first batch was invited in, the elder in charge of the assessment is very strict. Therefore, it is best to be serious and show your best from the beginning. Senior Yu Qi also said that if you are chosen by those elders, your future will be limitless. Yuluan Hui said with a smile. Has Senior Yu Qi returned? Qin Yun always wanted to know about this matter. He has returned, but his injuries are not light. Yuluan Hui sighed and said, the creatures from the outside are really strong. Even a strong expert like Senior Yu Qi was injured. Qin Yun asked in shock, didn't he go to seal the passage? How did he get injured? The creatures from the outside opened the passage and rushed to the front. Those guys are not weak. Now the Imperial Heaven sect doesn't have enough manpower. Senior Yu Qi can only fight head-on. Luckily the elders arrived in time. Senior Yu Qi can escape. Yuluan Hui said. Chapter 2840. Not only Imperial Heaven sect disciples have to risk their lives, even seniors like Yu Qi have to be prepared to die when facing outer universe lifeforms. Qin Yun has never seen outer universe lifeforms, so he doesn't know how strong they are. He tried his best to imagine but couldn't think of anything. After all, he has never seen them with his own eyes. Not long after, they arrived at the inner region. After entering the inner region, they can see a very large building. This is also one of the few large buildings, but whether it is inside or outside, it is very simple. There are no decorations. Qin Yun and Yuluan Hui entered the simple and crude but very spacious lobby and saw several hundred people here. Yuluan Hui, didn't you say you want to make your appearance younger? Qin Yun looked at Yuluan Hui and said with smile. I already found someone to help me arrange it. I will become younger very soon. Yuluan Hui said with smile. Yuluan Hui's body was destroyed by Qin Yun before, but after he returned, he created a relatively young body. But now he wants to be even younger. In this lobby, the people who came to sign up are young and old. Some youngsters only have 80 or 90 divine cosmos power, but they also came to sign up. Qin Yun also saw a few arrogant youths with a divine cosmos force of 100. But there are no youngsters with more than 100 divine cosmos power. There are many young, middle-aged and old people. Reaching 100 divine cosmos power at a young age, this is indeed very good. Taisher's divine cosmos voice came. Qin Yun used divine mirror of primal beginning to look everywhere and saw many people's divine cosmos power. Most of the people here did not use tools to hide their divine cosmos power, so divine mirror of primal beginning can easily see through them. If they hide it, divine mirror of primal beginning also can't see it. For example, Yu Qi and Long Shu, they all hide their divine cosmos power. Qin Yun saw Ling Taiyun. Ling Taiyun is wearing simple clothes, although his appearance is not bad. Right now he looks somewhat scholarly and weak, thrown in a sea of people. He is not outstanding. Qin Yun used divine mirror of primal beginning to look at him and found out that Ling Taiyun's divine cosmos power is at 100. He has not entered first-level divine cosmos realm. This guy, does he need to take the test or not? Qin Yun greeted Yu Luanhui and said that he wants to walk around, then he quietly walked towards Ling Taiyun. Ling Taiyun was the kind of person who kept a low profile. Although he was the favorite son of the Ling family patriarch, he did not have that kind of overbearing arrogance. Instead, he was quite easy to talk to. Qin Yun arrived behind Ling Taiyun and gently patted his head. Ling Taiyun turned around, seeing it was Qin Yun. He smiled and said, "Brother-in-law, don't call me that." Qin Yun said with smile, "If you call me brother-in-law, you are older than me. You are taking advantage of me." "Big brother Qin, you really came." Seeing Qin Yun, Ling Taiyun relaxed a lot, his face filled with smile. "Do you want to take the test?" asked Qin Yun. Of course. Those who had not stepped into the first level of the divine space realm would be divided into a group. "Big brother Qin, have you stepped into the first level of the divine space realm?" Ling Taiyun asked curiously. He was not like Yu Qi, who could roughly see Qin Yun's divine cosmos power. "No," Qin Yun said. Then aren't we on the same level?" Ling Taiyun said with a smile. "That's great, we can take care of each other like this." While speaking, he put his hand on Qin Yun's shoulder and then handed him a cigarette. Qin Yun glanced at Ling Taiyun. He saw that Ling Taiyun is also smoking a high-grade elegant smoke. "I don't smoke," Qin Yun said with smile. Ling Taiyun can only light his own cigarette. In this lobby there are many people smoking, men, women, young and old. Not long ago, Qin Yun gave Ming Yongtian a batch of goods. They are very popular. Ming Yongtian also sold them to Ling family. Many people are smoking elegant smoke, 30% of them are smoking, this is not bad. Time is almost up. Suddenly an old man flew in. His aura is very formidable. This old man had deliberately released his powerful divine cosmos force. The moment he entered, everyone present suddenly felt an invisible force pressing down on their shoulders. Many people's knees are already bent, it is difficult for them to stand up straight. And Qin Yun is also feeling a lot of pressure. Ling Taiyun beside him is feeling very uncomfortable. He even bit the cigarette in his mouth and broke it. The entire place suddenly became extremely quiet. Everyone was releasing their divine cosmos force to resist the sudden power that had suddenly appeared. Qin Yun secretly took out the ancient beginning divine mirror to probe the old man's divine cosmos power. Unable to accurately probe, this old man is releasing 2000 divine cosmos power, but he is only controlling it. There is even stronger divine cosmos power inside his body that he has not released yet. Taisher replied, "This is 2000 divine cosmos power? Moreover, it is scattered on so many people's shoulders, truly terrifying. Qin Yun has 300 divine cosmos power. If it was 300 divine cosmos power on his shoulders, he would not feel this kind of pressure." If he is 6th or 7th level Divine Cosmos Realm, then his Divine Cosmos power has 6 to 7 nuclei. It is much stronger than Divine Cosmos power without nuclei. Only high-level Divine Cosmos Realm experts can compare their Divine Cosmos power with people of the same level. Taisher said. Qin Yun thought about it and also felt that his 300 Divine Cosmos power is very insignificant in the eyes of high-level Divine Cosmos Realm expert. This old man's expression is solemn and cold, his eyes are like lightning. Although his body is very small, he has an imposing aura that makes people want to bow down to him. I am the Imperial Heaven Sect Master Yu Yuan. After this old man spoke, everyone became startled. They did not expect that the Imperial Heaven Sect Master would appear. His strength is simply terrifying. After Yu Yuan finished speaking, he retracted his Divine Cosmos power, then floated in the air and said, "This assessment will be supervised by me. Elders, the assessment will be handed over to you." After he finished speaking, 10 elders flew in. When these 10 elders came in, they did not feel any pressure, but they all have a very dense killing intent. This killing intent caused people to feel fear. It is as if they just killed their way out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Qin Yun knows that this kind of killing intent must have been accumulated in the Outerverse. It is clear that they must have killed a large number of Outerverse creatures. The 10 elders are all old men, some of them are very cold, some of them are full of smiles. We will first divide them into groups. Youths and those who have not entered first-level Divine Cosmos Realm will form one group. The rest who have not entered Divine Cosmos Realm will form the second group. They will be judged based on appearance. An elder said. Qin Yun now suddenly understood why Yu Luanhui said he wanted to make himself look younger. It is because he wants to mix with youngsters. Then there are 3 groups of first-level Divine Cosmos Realm youths and 4 groups of first-level Divine Cosmos Realm youth. Altogether there are 4 groups. After dividing them, Ling Tai Yun closely followed Qin Yun. In Ling Tai Yun's eyes, Qin Yun's Divine Cosmos power is the same as his, both just reached 100. Although in his eyes, Divine Cosmos power is the same, he knows that Qin Yun is definitely stronger than him. Chapter 2841. The latest chapter of the 9-Sun Divine King. In Qin Yun's group, apart from those youths, the other youths are currently observing their group. Those youths are young and arrogant. They feel that they are the most promising and have the best aptitude in their group. Although those youths are very unhappy with those arrogant youths, they did not say anything. After all, they reached 100 divine space power in their youth. So they indeed have the qualifications to be arrogant. Most of the youths in the youths group are very old. However, their appearance has not aged. Even at such an old age, they have just reached 100 divine space power, so they are looked down upon by the other youths. In the youth group, most of the youths were very old. It was just that their appearances had not aged. Even at such an old age, they had only just reached 100 divine space forces, which was why they were looked down upon by the other youths. Because in the future, they will most likely enter the 9-Sun Holy Land and fight side by side. After dividing into groups, the 4 groups paid attention to the people in their own group and then looked at the people in the other group. After dividing into groups, the people in the 4 groups paid attention to the people in their own group and then looked at the people in the other group. The first group has more people, a total of 200. They are all youths who have just entered the divine space realm and have not yet entered the first level. The second group has 150 people who have just entered the divine space realm and have not yet entered the first level. The gap between these 2 groups is the most obvious because they have not yet entered the first level. Some are youths and some are old. The third group has more than 100 youths who have just entered the first level of the divine space realm. The fourth group also has more than 100 youths who have just entered the first level of the divine space realm. The first group stays. The second, third and fourth groups will be led by elders and will go to different areas to undergo the assessment. One of the elders said. Following that, 3 elders each led a group of people out of the hall. Now, there is only one group left in the hall. The Imperial Heaven Sect's headmaster, Yu Yuan, is still floating in the air. His eyes are filled with power as he looked at the group of youths. Now, there are still 7 elders present. The other groups are only led by 1 elder, but this group has 7 elders and the headmaster. It is clear that they attach great importance to the first group. Let's test your divine cosmos force first. A tall and sturdy bald old man shouted. The bald old man's voice was as shocking as thunder, causing the crowd to frown and cover their ears. In the great hall, apart from the youths taking the test, there were also several hundred members of the Yu clan. Some were like Yu Luanhui, while others had returned from the outerverse. The youths of the first group were all filled with confidence in their divine cosmos force because they had all tested it with instrument. As for Qin Yun, he believed that it was not that simple. It was relatively easy to reach 100 Divine Universe Goldstones as long as one had enough Divine Universe Goldstones. The Imperial Heaven Gate would definitely not only recruit mediocre disciples, so it was not enough to just meet the standard of Divine Cosmos energy. Qin Yun also found it strange because Yu Luanhui previously said that one needed 200 Divine Cosmos Force to register. But there were a bunch of youths with 100 Divine Cosmos Force here. The bald old man's voice seemed to shake the earth as he shouted, "Our method of testing Divine Cosmos Force is very strict, it's not like your ordinary method." As the bald old man spoke, he took out a 2-meter-tall round crystal ball and heavily placed it on the ground. There was a mirror in the middle of the crystal ball. It was the instrument used to test Divine Cosmos Force. This kind of instrument was very common. It was first made by Qin Yun, but later on, other great powers followed suit and made similar instruments. Even the heaven-opening clan members who returned from the outerverse felt that this kind of mirror was very useful and imitated it. You have to pass your divine cosmos energy through the thick crystal ball to the testing mirror in the middle. This will test your divine cosmos energy's cohesiveness as well as your ability to use it. Only after painstakingly cultivating divine cosmos energy is the most solid and powerful. It also means that your foundation is the most solid. It was easy to cultivate the divine cosmic force to 100, but to control it freely and to have enough penetrative power, that was not a simple matter. The bald old man's voice became a bit lower as he explained the purpose of the test. Line up and take the test. If your divine cosmos energy reaches 90, then stay. If not, then go back and cultivate for a few more years, the bald old man said. The youths of the first group immediately went into an uproar. Their divine cosmos force test only required 90 divine cosmos energy. It must be known that there were many people here who had reached 100. Qin Yun now understood why they were divided into groups. If they were middle-aged or old people, their divine cosmos energy would definitely be stronger than these youths. After all, they had cultivated for many years. With a glance, Qin Yun could see that the huge crystal ball was not an ordinary crystal, it had the ability to disperse divine cosmos energy. He secretly suspected that this material might have been brought back from the outerverse and could be used to make defensive tools that could condense divine cosmos energy into attack. At this time, a youth with a cold and arrogant expression walked towards the crystal ball with large strides. As he walked, he said, "I come from the powerful Qilin bloodline Wang family, Wang Shaolin. My divine cosmos energy reached 100 a long time ago." Qilin bloodline Wang family? A branch of the Qilin clan? Seems very strong. Someone exclaimed. This guy, he announced his name so early. If he didn't pass the test, wouldn't he lose all face? Someone mocked in a low voice. Wang Shaolin arrived in front of the huge crystal ball, placed his hands on it, and then stared at the mirror in the middle of the crystal ball. He shouted loudly and released a wave of red divine cosmos force. One could see several red beams of light scattering in the crystal, and only a very weak beam of light entered the mirror. Very soon, a number appeared on the mirror. It was unexpectedly only 70. The people of the first group all cried out in alarm, because they believed that they were not much stronger than Wang Shaolin, and Wang Shaolin only had 70. He would not be able to pass this test. Wang Shaolin's expression became unsightly, then he shouted again and crazily released divine cosmos energy. His face became distorted. The second time he tried, his divine cosmos energy only reached 55. It had dropped by a lot. After releasing divine cosmos energy, it would decrease by a lot. If he wanted to maintain his best condition, he must replenish his divine cosmos energy to the maximum. After resting for 3 days, he had replenished his divine cosmos energy to 300, so he is now in his best condition. Failed. The bald old man coldly said, "Next." Wang Shaolin, whose face was filled with arrogance just a moment ago, suddenly became dejected. He also felt that he had lost a lot of face. He lowered his head and retreated into the crowd. He did not leave immediately. He wanted to see who would be able to pass the divine cosmos energy test. Ling Taiyun, who was beside Qin Yun, suddenly became very nervous and said in low voice, "Big brother Qin, do you think I can pass or not? Why don't you go up and try? Let's go." Qin Yun laughed, then grabbed Ling Taiyun's arm and threw him forward. Just like this, Ling Taiyun was thrown in front of the crystal ball. Ling Taiyun cursed Qin Yun a few times in his heart, then took a deep breath and began adjusting his condition. Chapter 2842. After Ling Taiyun went up, he felt a lot of pressure. He was very worried that he wouldn't be able to pass. His divine cosmos force increased very quickly, and he thought that his foundation was a bit unstable. Isn't that Ling Taiyun from the Ling family? His father is the former emperor of the Extreme Sky clan. He's pretty strong. So he's from the Extreme Sky Divine clan. I wonder if he has inherited a bloodline heavenly pattern. He should have, otherwise he wouldn't have come here. Even the people of the ancient Yu clan were curious about Ling Taiyun because they knew that he might have a bloodline heavenly pattern. Ling Taiyun was a junior. If he really had a bloodline heavenly pattern, it might be a second or third generation one. "Let's begin," said the bald old man. Ling Taiyun took a deep breath. After a long while, he placed his palm on the crystal ball and released his divine cosmos force with one hand. Everyone knew that this kind of test required a very strong divine cosmos force. Releasing the strongest divine cosmos force with one hand would put a great burden on that hand. Wang Shaolin had released a very strong divine cosmos force in the previous test, but he had released it with both hands. Moreover, he couldn't release it all at once. That was why he could release it a second time, but it was much weaker. He only had 100 divine cosmos force in his body. If his body was strong enough and he used a powerful cultivation technique, he could release even more divine cosmos force. The result of the test would also be higher. If he used the divine cosmos force well and used it with a cultivation technique, he could surpass 100 divine cosmos force. Powerful cultivation techniques could allow the divine cosmos force to surpass the limit. This was the meaning of cultivation technique. Ling Taiyun shouted and released all the divine cosmos force in his body through his palms. The sleeve on his arm suddenly spurted out a bloody mist. His arm swelled up and exploded with an imposing aura, tearing the sleeve apart. A golden light shot out from Ling Taiyun's palm and into the mirror. Seeing this scene, Wang Shaolin was dumbfounded. He didn't think that someone would be so desperate to release the divine cosmos force through one arm. After Ling Taiyun released the divine cosmos force, his whole body swayed. His face was deathly pale and his palm was torn. His arm was a bloody mess. It was very frightening. It was just a test, and he was going to destroy his arm. At this moment, everyone present realized that if they wanted to enter the Imperial Heaven Gate, they must be prepared to risk it all. They all knew that they would have to enter the Nine Suns sacred ground to kill enemies in the future, and they could lose their lives at any time. If he did not have such a heart, then he was not fit to enter the Imperial Heaven sect. Although Ling Taiyun was very weak, he usually looked weak and scholarly, but at this moment, his face was calm. It was hard to tell that he was such a ruthless person. He had paid such a great price, and the result of the test was extremely shocking. He had reached 110 points of divine cosmic force. Even Ling Taiyun himself did not expect that he, who only had 100 points of divine cosmos force, would actually erupt with such a high amount of divine cosmos force when he went all out. At this moment, everyone understood the true meaning behind this test of divine cosmos force. You originally had 100 divine cosmos force, and after erupting, you had 150. However, when you passed through the crystal, you lost 40 divine cosmos force, and only 110 divine cosmos force reached the testing apparatus. This is very ordinary. The bald old man's expression did not change at all as he calmly said, "Very average?" This caused everyone in Team 1 to be shocked. At this time, an old man threw a pill to Ling Taiyun. After Ling Taiyun received it, he promptly thanked the old man and swallowed the pill. His complexion quickly became much better, but his arm did not immediately recover. From the bald old man's reaction, Qin Yun could tell that this kind of test is very common. The Heaven-Opening clan members who returned from the Outerverse must have received this kind of training frequently. They were all the kind of people who put their lives on the line. After entering the Nine Suns sacred ground, they had to put their lives on the line to face the creatures from the outside world. When facing life or death, they had to put their lives on the line to survive. There were 200 people in the youth group, but none of the following youths were able to reach 90 divine cosmos force. This caused the elders to repeatedly shake their heads. They were very disappointed. The arrogant youths were now all taught a lesson. Their previous arrogance has completely disappeared. They all stood dejectedly at the side. There were a few youths like Ling Taiyun who did not hesitate to damage their arms to erupt with the strongest divine cosmos force. Their divine cosmos force all exceeded 90. Qin Yun now understood that the upper limit of one's divine cosmos force was one thing, but after releasing it, the divine cosmos force would be even higher than one's body's upper limit. He guessed that the divine cosmos force carried the strength of the physical body, and when it was released, it would cause the divine cosmos force to become even stronger. In other words, during battle, if one cooperated with the physical body and used their cultivation technique well, the divine cosmos force that could be released would be even higher than one's body's upper limit. I currently have 300 divine cosmos force. If I use it without any regard for my life, how much will it be? Qin Yun decided to give it a try later. Yu Qi had previously told him that he had to display his strength as much as possible. Only then would the elders teach him everything they knew. The elders wanted to nurture powerful warriors to kill their enemies. If he wanted them to spend so much effort to nurture him, then he had to display his value. Qin Yun was not in a hurry to take the test. There were 200 people in his group, and only 100 or so had been tested. At this time, the third group returned. The third group was the group of youths in the first level of the divine cosmos realm. There were more than 100 of them, but only 12 had returned. Out of more than 100 people, only 12 had passed the test. This was indeed shocking. They didn't seem to have any injuries. Qin Yun glanced at the 12 youths and unexpectedly recognized some of them. One of them was Wei Shuangyan. Great Heaven Divine Races Wei Families Wei Shuangyan, a great heaven war god, Unexpectedly, he also came to the Imperial Heaven sect. Wei Shuangyan was brutally beaten by Qin Yun and his injuries were very serious. But now he is still in the first level of the Divine Cosmos realm and still passed the test. The youths who passed the test are more or less proud, they stood to the side and watched. Wei Shuangyan also noticed the injured Ling Taiyun. He couldn't help but sneer and said, Ling family's main force Ling Taiyun is actually in such a sorry state. You guys in the third group don't make sarcastic remarks. If you wanted to pass the first group's test, you would also be injured. If you were to pass the first group's test, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to pass. The bald old man said with sneer. The bald old man's voice was very loud, it was like thunder piercing the ears. After Wei Shuangyan and the others heard it, they didn't even dare to let out a fart. Because they also noticed that the few youths who passed the first group's test all had their arms injured too badly to look at. Not only Ling Taiyun and the others, there were more than 10 youths who also threw caution to the wind but still couldn't pass. From this, it can be seen that although they all have 100 divine cosmos power, there is still a gap. This group's test focuses more on potential and foundation, as well as fighting spirit. Everyone present understood that since the first group was so strictly selected, they would definitely be heavily nurtured. Therefore, they must do their best to select the best. Mobile users please visit Chapter 2843. Ling Taiyun did not care about Wei Shuangyan, what he cared about was how much Qin Yun would reach. When Wei Shuangyan saw Ling Taiyun looking at Qin Yun, he also looked over and could not help but be startled. Qin Yun did not disguise himself, but he was dressed more formally today and did not wear a cap, so he did not recognize him. And now, he recognized that this was the young divine king who had heavily injured him that day, Qin Yun. There were not many people present who recognized Qin Yun. This was because there were few images of Qin Yun on the magic mirror. Some of them were rather blurry. And Wukong was in charge of managing the content on the magic mirror platform. He would purposely hide the images of some people, such as Qin Yun, Xie Wufeng, and others who were close to Qin Yun. Wei Shuangyan was very alarmed because Qin Yun, a young divine king, actually came to the Imperial Heaven sect and not the ancient Qin clan's Heavenly Qin sect or the ancient Dragon clan's Dragon sect. Many people guessed that Qin Yun would most likely go to the Heavenly Qin sect or the Dragon sect. This was because Qin Yun's surname was Qin and he had a good relationship with the All Heavens dragon race. And because the Sun Dragon Emperor had a good relationship with Qin Yun. After learning that Qin Yun was in the Imperial Heaven Gate, Wei Shuangyan immediately took out the magic mirror and announced this shocking news on the magic mirror platform. He did not dare to take a picture of Qin Yun, afraid that Qin Yun would catch him and beat him up after discovering it. Even though Wei Shuangyan knew that Qin Yun had just entered the divine space realm, even if he had 100 times more courage, he still would not dare to provoke Qin Yun. He was very clear that Qin Yun's strength could not be judged by his cultivation realm. Previously, Qin Yun's cultivation level was extremely low, but he could shake a great divine monarch. Now that he had just entered the divine universe realm, he was definitely very strong. Almost everyone in the hall has a magic mirror. They immediately learned that young divine King Qin Yun is actually here. Furthermore, he is in the same group. In this way, everyone could immediately confirm that Qin Yun's cultivation had just entered the divine space realm and had not yet stepped into the first level of the divine space realm. Generally speaking, when one had just entered the divine space realm, their divine space force would be below 100. But when one registered to join the Imperial Heaven sect, it meant that their divine space force had reached 100. Even so, no one dared to look down on this little divine king. After all, the things that little divine king did previously were still fresh in everyone's memory. Wang Shaolin looked at Team 1 and asked, "Which one is Qin Yun?" Little divine king is actually in the same group. Why is he cowering and not daring to show his face? Because they knew that Qin Yun was here, the test also stopped, causing a small commotion. Qin Yun said, "How am I cowering? I registered under Qin Yun's name. I didn't disguise myself or wear a mask." Hearing Qin Yun speak, everyone immediately looked at him. Even Sect Master Yuan was staring at Qin Yun. Only when they are close to Qin Yun can they feel that his divine cosmos power is relatively high. It was the same for Yuqi Sect Master, and other elders are quite far away from Qin Yun, so they don't know that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power exceeds 100. The news traveled fast, and soon a group of people came in. Among them was Yu Xingyu. Yu Xingyu was Yu Yaoyao's father. Because of his daughter, his status wasn't low. In addition, he was quite strong. Hence, he was considered a respectable person in the ancient Yu clan. Using a space-transforming crystal to test one's divine space force? Why is it so harsh? Yu Xingyu exclaimed after he entered the room. My son worked his heart out and still didn't reach the standard. Those who can pass this test are all good seedlings. The middle-aged man who followed Yu Xingyu sighed with emotion. Just now, the third group finally understood how dreadful this test is. Even the ancient Yu clan people might not be able to pass. Wang Shaolin looked at Qin Yun and yelled, "Young Divine King, go and take the test. You are a young Divine King, you should be different from the others. Can you not harm yourself like others?" The bald old man looked at Qin Yun and said with smile, "I didn't expect that among the big and small divine kings, a young divine king would come to our imperial heaven sect. But let me tell you, even if you are a young divine king, when you come to our imperial heaven sect, you have to rely on your strength. We welcome famous people but only those with strength." Yu Yuan said, "Qin Yun, if you can pass the divine cosmos power test, our Imperial Heaven sect will give a famous person like you preferential treatment." Qin Yun already walked towards the space-transforming crystal. The bald old man said, "Qin Yun, if you want to pass the test, you better suffer a bit. Don't be misled by that brat's words. Our test is a multifaceted test. If you don't harm yourself, you won't be able to pass." Qin Yun said with smile, "Elder, maybe I am truly different from the others? Otherwise I wouldn't be a divine king." "You can become a divine king, you indeed have your outstanding points, I admit that," the bald old man said with smile. "However, you have just entered the divine cosmos realm. Although I don't know how you understood this realm so early, you are still a newcomer in this realm." The heaven-opening ancient clan's elders are very clear about Qin Yun's matter, they are also very curious about him. Qin Yun has already arrived in front of the space-transforming crystal. He is very close to the bald old man. The bald old man suddenly sensed that Qin Yun is somewhat different and his expression cannot help but change. He is an elder, he is even stronger than Yu Qi. He can naturally sense that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power is not normal. He is very sure that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power has no nucleus. It means that he has not entered first-layer divine cosmos realm. This is divine cosmos power that exceeds the limit. Seeing the bald old man's expression, Yu Yuan hastily asked, "Elder Yu Guang, what's wrong?" "His divine cosmos power exceeds the limit, it is more than 100 in static state, no. It is more than 200. Yu Guang said in shock. Static divine cosmos power is more than 200. This caused Group 1 people to look at each other in dismay because they don't know what is going on. In their opinion, 100 divine cosmos power is the limit of initial divine cosmos realm. If they want to surpass this limit, they must enter first-layer divine cosmos realm. Elder, is he not in the same group? This guy is actually so dishonest, he sneaked into the same group. A youth said in a very bad mood. No, he indeed has not entered first-layer divine cosmos realm. Yu Guang said with frown. This is exceeding the limit, you guys don't understand, this is very rare. Even Wei Shuangyan and others who have entered first layer divine cosmos realm don't know what is going on. Ling Taiyun is already dumbfounded. He has also not entered first layer divine cosmos realm, but Qin Yun's divine cosmos power is more than 200, what is going on? Only Yu Luanhui beside him knows that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power has reached 300. Qin Yun, start the test. With your current condition, you can definitely pass, moreover you don't need to harm yourself. You are indeed different from the masses. Yu Guang took a deep breath and said. Qin Yun stretched out 2 fingers. He wants to use heaven extinguishing finger to condense divine cosmos power and explode it. When other people tested, they used divine cosmos power to pass through their entire palm, causing their palm to explode. As for Qin Yun, he only used 2 fingers. This gave the people who did the self-mutilation test quite a fright. Mobile users please visit Chapter 2844. A complete copy. I will update the latest chapter of the 9 Sons Divine King as soon as possible. The reason why Ling Taiyun and the others had to mutilate themselves to erupt with God Cosmos Force was because their physical bodies were too weak and could not withstand the extreme eruption of God Cosmos Force. However, Qin Yun was different. He had cultivated 108 divine universe golden tendons and possessed a super heaven divine body. The strength of his body was not something that others could compare with. For an elder like Imperial Light, they were all very clear that if one's divine space force could exceed 200 before stepping into the first level of the divine space realm, it meant that their corporeal body was very strong, and they had definitely tempered their divine space golden tendons. As for how many divine universe golden tendons he had refined, Yu Guang and the other elders were also very curious. Qin Yun mobilized the 200 divine cosmos power in his body. He wanted to release 200 divine cosmos power in one go. This way, he would still have 100 left. If he were to explode all at once, he was really worried that it would cause a huge commotion. Moreover, it would also make him feel weak all over, which would make him feel very insecure. Moreover, replenishing divine space energy required time. If he wanted to quickly replenish it, he would need to consume divine space goldstones. If he used 200 points of divine space force to erupt, he would definitely be able to reach the standard. Moreover, the divine space force that came out of the test would be very high. 300 divine space force bursting forth was also a great burden on his fingers, so he felt that 200 was just right. Qin Yun's heart is that energy body, it is also the divine universe in his body. The heart of Imperial Heaven has already fused with it. With just a thought, the 200 light dots in his divine universe immediately gathered together and rushed out from his divine universe. When it surged out, it would fuse and collide with the divine cosmos force, causing the divine cosmos force to explosively increase. This was the reason why when one used a cultivation method to revolve the divine cosmos force, their divine cosmos force would increase by a great deal. Qin Yun immediately felt a slight pain in his arm. After all, a large amount of fused ferocious divine universe power was rushing out. Soon, the divine cosmos energy surged towards his fingertip. Heaven severing 9 fingers, piercing the heavens. This was a divine technique that had an extremely strong penetrative power, and it also had an obvious effect on divine cosmos force. It could condense divine cosmos force and release an extremely strong penetrative power. Qin Yun's finger shot out a blue light. What was surprising was that the blue light did not scatter to other parts of the crystal ball. Instead, it tightly condensed together and shot towards the mirror in the middle of the crystal ball. Everyone stared at the mirror in the center of the crystal ball, thinking that they would be able to see the test results immediately. However, to everyone's surprise, after the mirror was struck by a blue ray of light, it was penetrated. The crowd was silent for a moment when they witnessed this scene, and then exclamations of surprise resounded successively. The testing mirror has been pierced by Qin Yun's divine cosmos power, and the entire mirror has been destroyed. Yu Yuan and the other elders were moved. Their eyes were filled with surprise and excitement. Qin Yun frowned slightly as he secretly despised the poor quality of the testing equipment. In fact, this kind of detection device was not meant for defensive purposes, nor was it made for such an extreme test. Qin Yun's attack just now was equivalent to a very strong divine cosmos power attack. If this kind of cheap examination mirror could block it, it would be abnormal. One must know that the power of Qin Yun's sky-piercing finger is equivalent to a very strong attack. Furthermore, it has a strong penetrating power. Only a defensive tool can block it. Elder, how should we calculate this? Do you want to try again? Qin Yun is rather calm because this is not the first time he destroyed someone else's testing equipment. Qin Yun, you passed the test. Although Elder Yu Guang was already mentally prepared, he is still scared by Qin Yun's divine cosmos power. Elder, did he really not step into first-level divine cosmos realm? Yu Xingyu suddenly asked. To be able to pierce through the testing equipment, he would need at least several hundred divine cosmos power. Yu Guang said, "This is not strange, the testing equipment was originally not specially made to withstand high burst of divine cosmos power. Qin Yun's divine cosmos power just now was high burst, I estimate it to be around 200 divine cosmos power. After high burst, it might be around 300. Qin Yun's divine cosmos power is actually 200, high burst can reach 300. Doesn't this mean that even a first-level divine cosmos realm expert would be insta-killed by Qin Yun? Qin Yun still has at least several tens of divine cosmos power inside his body." Yu Yuan's eyes are filled with admiration, a smile appeared on his solemn old face and he said, "I want this disciple, you don't have any objection, right?" "I have an objection, the choice is in Qin Yun's hands, not in Sect Master's hands." Yu Guang immediately shouted. Everyone is stunned, Sect Master and elders actually want to fight over Qin Yun. That's right, Qin Yun knows nothing about Sect Master and us, we have to give him the right to choose, let him choose the best teacher. Another round-faced elder said with mischievous smile. Qin Yun, within Imperial Heaven Sect, Sect Master is not the most awesome, actually. Sect Master is very busy, there is no benefit for you to follow him. As for me, I am a relatively idle elder. Seeing that these elders and Sect Master are about to quarrel, Qin Yun promptly said, "Sect Master and elders, let's wait for Group 1's assessment to finish first." Group 1's youths are incomparably envious of Qin Yun. Now they finally know why he can become a young divine king. Both of them have not stepped into divine space realm, yet Qin Yun's divine space power is as high as 200, and after erupting, it can reach more than 300. Just thinking about it is terrifying. Ling Taiyun knows that Qin Yun is very awesome, but he did not expect him to be so terrifying. Yu Luanhui is also the same. Both of them are very happy at this moment because after entering Nine Sun Holy Ground, with Qin Yun by their side, they will not be in so much danger. Qin Yun is also at a loss, he does not know which big shot he should follow. Now it seems that Imperial Heaven Sect Master Yu Yuan is stronger, but Yu Guang's strength is also not bad, he just did not show it. As for the other elders, they must have their own strong points, otherwise they would not be able to become elders of Imperial Heaven Sect. It must be known that Imperial Heaven Sect elders have to go to battle at any time to resist the foreign creatures from Nine Sun Holy Ground. At the crucial moment, they have to stand at the forefront and fight with their lives on the line. Without some ability, they cannot become elders and sect master of Imperial Heaven Sect. After careful consideration, Qin Yun also decided on a direction to take. At this moment, Group 1's assessment has also ended. The test was a test. Out of 200 people, only 15 could pass. It could be said to be a very small number. Apart from Qin Yun, the others who passed were taken away by Imperial Heaven Sect's instructors. And the strength of Imperial Heaven Sect's instructors is also not bad, like Yu Qi. He is one of the instructors. Usually he also needs to kill enemies. What the elders want are good seedlings like Qin Yun, who has not entered first-level divine space realm but has divine space power over 100. Qin Yun, have you thought about who you want to follow? Make your decision. No matter who you choose, you will be my Imperial Heaven Sect's disciple. Don't be afraid of offending anyone, we will not blame you. Yu Guang said with smile. I am an inscription master. I am not good at fighting, so it is best for me to focus on inscription. I want to learn Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. Qin Yun looked at the elders, then looked at sect master Yu Yuan. Not good at fighting? Ling Taiyun, Wei Shuangyan and Yu Xinyu do not believe it. They have seen Qin Yun's ferocious fighting appearance. Chapter 2845. Hearing that Qin Yun wants to learn the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman, everyone looked at each other in shock. Are you stupid? The Yu Clan's heavenly talisman is a secret of the Yu Clan. Someone shouted, this person is here to take the test. Every major power in Divine Desolate knows how powerful the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman is. Moreover, there are rumors that the ancestors of the Yu Clan were able to maintain a certain level of superiority after entering the Outerverse because of the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. If the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman cannot be divulged, then everyone would think that it is normal. So even if the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman is very strong, their Imperial Heaven Sect doesn't have many famous people. Everyone knows that the Imperial Heaven Sect's strongest point is the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. But if they can't learn it, then their attraction will be greatly reduced. The sects of the other heaven-splitting ancient clans all had generous conditions, and the cultivation techniques they passed down were all very powerful. Speaking about the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman, the sect master and elder's expression became even more solemn. If it's not possible, then forget it, it is understandable. Qin Yun has already obtained the diagram of many Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. If he has some time, he can also make it. What he needs is the lost Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. The Yu Clan's heavenly talisman is indeed not divulged, but there is an exception. Yu Yuan said. Everyone is shocked, there is actually an exception. Even Yu Xingyu and the other Yu Clan members don't know about this. Although Yu Luanhui secretly gave the diagram to Qin Yun, he doesn't know about the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman being divulged. Then there are some conditions? Do I need to sign a soul contract to not divulge it? Qin Yun asked. No, we are not afraid of divulging it. If you want to divulge it, you must first master it. This process is very difficult. If you can master it, then there is no need to divulge it. Yu Yuanzhang suddenly sighed. No one knows why he sighed. Yu Guang said, Qin Yun, if you want to learn the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman, then you are not following us elders. You seem to be very suitable for battle, but instead of following us, you are wasting a lot of time on the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. What if you don't learn it? Everyone immediately understood that the Yu Clan was willing to teach Qin Yun, but they were afraid that he wouldn't be able to learn it. It was obvious how difficult it was to learn the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. How about this? If I really can't learn it, I will retreat in the face of difficulties. I will stop as soon as possible and cultivate battle god technique with you. Qin Yun said. We respect your choice, but we are not the ones who taught you the Yu Clan's heavenly talisman. You have passed the test and are now a disciple of the Imperial Heaven Sect. But you did not pass that person's test, so whether or not he is willing to teach you the Yu Clan heavenly talisman depends on whether or not you can pass that person's test. Yu Yuan said. Sect Master Yu Yuan and the other elders were all filled with killing intent. They often fought with foreign beings, so they would not make the Yu Clan heavenly talisman. The person who passed the heavenly talisman to the Yu family was someone else, and it seemed like that person had a very high status. Let me try, Qin Yun said. In his eyes, the Yu heavenly talisman was the way to go. You better prove that you have potential in inscription Dao. If we send you over but you don't have talent in this aspect, he will curse you to death. Yu Yuan seems to be somewhat afraid of that person. Everyone is secretly apprehensive, even the sect master of the Imperial Heaven sect is afraid of being cursed. How do I prove it? Qin Yun said with frown. Everyone knows about my inscription level. Yu Yuan shook his head and said with sigh. Our Yu ancient clan has many talented inscription masters. These inscription masters can instantly release complex totem runes, but none of them can learn the Yu clan heavenly talisman. I have studied the Imperial Heavenly Talisman. It seems to me that it is not difficult. Qin Yun suddenly said. The Imperial Heavenly Talisman you have seen are the simplest kind. A true Imperial Heavenly Talisman can transfer thousands upon thousands of divine cosmos power. Yu Yuan's words caused many people present to be shocked. When one is attacked by a formidable divine cosmos power, being able to transfer the divine cosmos power to attack the opponent, just thinking about it is very scary. I have inscription spirit, Qin Yun said. This should be fine, right? Having inscription spirit doesn't mean anything. Our Yu ancient clan also has a few geniuses who have inscription spirit. Yu Yuan shook his head and said, I have Wild Hua, Star Lord, Yu Ji and Sun Emperor, these are all inscription spirits. Qin Yun said again, Is this fine? He did not say much. If it is not enough, it is not too late to say more. Everyone is dumbfounded. These inscription spirits are all very famous, especially Sun Emperor inscription spirit. It is a legendary inscription spirit. Even Yu Yuan's face is filled with disbelief, he said with frown. How is this possible? How did you get them? I am a divine king. Isn't it normal for me to have inscription spirits? Not to mention inscription spirits, I even have bloodline heavenly pattern box. There is nothing strange about it. Qin Yun said with smile. It is very difficult for others to have even one, but Qin Yun is saying that there is nothing strange about it. This caused many people to feel very jealous. Alright, I will take you to try it out. Whether or not you can pass his assessment will depend on yourself. Yu Yuan recalled that Qin Yun has bloodline heavenly pattern box. Maybe he can pass. Qin Yun nodded his head and asked, Sect Master, what is his assessment like? If he thinks it is fine, then it is fine. You just stand there and let him see. Yu Yuan slowly flew out of the lobby and said, Follow me. Qin Yun hurriedly flew over and left the hall together. After they left, many Yu ancient clan people started discussing. They don't understand why Yu clan heavenly talisman can be given to outsiders. Elder Yu Guang, Yu clan heavenly talisman is in the hands of outsiders. Is this good? Yu Xingyu ran over and asked in low voice. If it was not given to outsiders, Yu clan heavenly talisman would have been lost long ago. Do you know that the person who has the most Yu clan heavenly talisman is not from our Yu ancient clan, it is an outsider? Elder Yu Guang coldly groaned. Everyone is shocked. The person who has the most Yu clan heavenly talisman is actually an outsider. Is that the person sect master brought Qin Yun to see? Yu Xingyu said in amazement. Indeed, that person is very important to our Yu ancient clan. He is not in Imperial Heaven sect. As for where he is, you don't have the qualifications to know. All of you disperse, go back and cultivate properly. There are more and more foreign creatures in Nine Sun Holy Land. Elder Yu Guang shouted. Everyone's heart is filled with amazement and curiosity. They left together. After Qin Yun and Yu Yuan left the lobby, they arrived at a teleportation formation. Yu Yuan stood on the teleportation formation and asked in low voice, Qin Yun, what is the upper limit of your divine cosmos power now? 300. Qin Yun truthfully replied. What? How is this possible? Even if you managed to refine 108 divine universe golden tendons, you would only be able to refine 208 divine universe golden tendons at most. Adding on the others, you would at most reach 250 or 260 divine universe golden tendons. How did you reach 300? Chapter 2846. After activating the teleportation formation, Yu Yuan arrived at a city. This city seems to have been built by ancient Yu clan in God Desolate. Qin Yun has never been here before. This city is not very big, but it is protected by many formation pillars. Moreover, after arriving here, Qin Yun can clearly sense that there is a lot of divine cosmos power all around. Qin Yun did not ask where this place is. He just followed behind Yu Yuan and walked on the empty street. This is a secret city that we built. It is very far away from Nine Sun Holy Land. Moreover, it is located in a very desolate and remote area. Even if outerverse lifeforms come out and occupy God Desolate, they won't come here in a short period of time. Yu Yuan said. God Desolate is very big. However, most of the people are gathered in the areas with abundant resources. Therefore, there are many places that are uninhabited and no one will go to those places. This city is built in the uninhabited area. Qin Yun sensed that the divine cosmos power gathered here is very dense. There must be some resources deep underground. Sect Master, you are the ancestors of the heaven-splitting ancient clan. Do you know if there are any other powerful beings in our universe apart from you? Qin Yun believed that there were, but he had yet to find any traces of them. Yes, but they won't interfere in this matter because the outerverse invasion of the divine desolate realm has not affected them at all. However, they have still given us a certain amount of help. Imperial Yuan said. There really are. How strong are they? Qin Yun is very pleasantly surprised and asked. We don't know about that. In short, God Desolate is nothing to them. They are not in God Desolate. We only had some contact with them, and they knew that we are facing some difficulties, so they gave us some help. Yu Yuan shook his head. Even if God Desolate falls, it won't affect those people. That means that they have reached a certain level of strength and won't be affected by the environment. There are very few people in this city. Qin Yun walked on the street and didn't see anyone. After asking, he found out that only core members of ancient Yu clan have the qualifications to stay here. Yu Yuan brought Qin Yun to the southern district of the small city and entered a large residence. After entering, Qin Yun sensed that this place is somewhat different. Although the hall of the residence is very simple, it is filled with all kinds of complicated runes. Qin Yun looked at those runes and secretly exclaimed in his heart. They are all heavenly rune grade. Someone extracted complex heavenly runes and fused them into all kinds of sceneries and murals. It looks as if they are formed by nature itself. If one doesn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to tell that these runes are actually runes. Let's just sit here and wait. Someone will come out to see us. Yu Yuan said. Sect Master, can you tell me more about that senior? This way I can understand him in advance. Qin Yun asked. He comes from the Xiao family, his name is Xiao Qihong. This name is definitely unfamiliar to you, but in the ears of us, who have returned from the Heaven Opening clan, it's a very frightening name. Yu Yuan smiled. It was obvious that he was proud that the ancient Yu clan had such a big shot. Xiao family? Why is it in the Yu ancient clan? Qin Yun was very curious about this. Let's talk about it later. Yu Yuan was about to say something, but he suddenly stood up. Xiao Qihong had already arrived. By the time Qin Yun reacted, he saw an old man dressed in red standing in front of the hall. Please take a seat. Xiao Qihong extended his hand and made a gesture, indicating Qin Yun and Yu Yuan to sit down. At the same time, he also indicated that they don't need to greet each other. Xiao Qihong's hair and eyebrows are all white. He doesn't have any beard. He looks very young. If he dyed his hair and eyebrows black, he would be a handsome middle-aged man. Senior, this little guy is called Qin Yun. His divine cosmos power is 300. He has not entered first-level divine cosmos realm. Moreover, he wants to learn the Yu clan heavenly talisman. Yu Yuan immediately explained. Xiao Qihong looks younger than Yu Yuan. Nobody expected him to be Yu Yuan senior. Hearing that Qin Yun has 300 divine cosmos power, Xiao Qihong's expression did not change at all. A Yuan, do you approve of his inscription talent? Xiao Qihong asked in calm tone. I approve. Yu Yuan replied. Is he from the Qin ancient clan? Xiao Qihong asked again. No, he is a human from Divine Desolate. He has the Divine King Heavenly Seal of Divine Desolate. He is the young Divine King of Divine Desolate. He has obtained the approval of the Nine Sun Law Spirit. Yu Yuan has a good understanding of Qin Yun. After learning about Qin Yun, Xiao Qihong's eyes revealed a trace of surprise and said, All right, I will discuss and study the Yu clan heavenly talisman with him. Discuss and study? Qin Yun doesn't understand. Even I have not completely mastered the Yu clan heavenly talisman, moreover I don't have the ability to teach others. What I can do is pass down my experience to you. Whether or not you can master it will depend on your perception. Xiao Qihong said. Xiao Qihong finished speaking, took out a very large book, placed it on the ground and said, This is the foundation of the Yu clan heavenly talisman. If you can completely understand it, you will be able to quickly master all 1-star Yu clan heavenly talisman. 1-star Yu clan heavenly talisman? Yu clan heavenly talisman is divided into several stars? Qin Yun said in amazement. Xiao Qihong nodded and said, The highest is 10 stars. If you can master 1 star, it means that you have talent and enough perception. Then I will share more experience with you. I heard that Yu ancient clan has 5 book of Yu clan heavenly talisman. What is the difference between them and this one? Qin Yun asked again. Their 5 Yu clan heavenly talisman can't even be considered as 1-star Yu clan heavenly talisman. It is only superficial knowledge. Moreover, it is very messy, therefore its power is very low. Yu Yuan said, What Senior Xiao has mastered is the most orthodox. It is also not the most orthodox because the Yu clan heavenly talisman is constantly evolving. This is a very strange process. Only by mastering the runes of the Yu clan heavenly talisman can one feel that the Yu clan heavenly talisman is constantly evolving. Xiao Qihong patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, Youngster, you don't need to be too anxious to master it. This kind of thing cannot be rushed. Qin Yun put away the book. He knows that whether or not he can master it will depend on his own talent. If Xiao Qihong can teach others, then he will not be the only one in the entire Yu ancient clan who can master it. Alright, you can make a breakthrough now. First, step into the first tier of the divine space realm, and then cultivate the divine battle technique in the Imperial Heaven Gate. If you want to use the runes of the Yu clan heavenly talisman, your own strength must also keep up. Xiao Qihong's face revealed a trace of smile. I truly hope that you can learn it. Yu Yuan coughed dryly, then said to Qin Yun with smile, Qin Yun, you will have to return to Imperial Heaven Sect in the end. You can choose one of us elders to be your teacher. Chapter 2847. After all, Yu Yuan was the sect master, even if his strength was not the strongest, but as the sect master, his quality in all aspects was definitely higher than those elders. However, Qin Yun feels that Elder Imperialite is pretty good. Although that bald old man looks very sturdy and fierce, he is actually a warm-hearted old man. He is also very straightforward. Qin Yun really did not understand the sect master and elders. Senior Xiao, why don't you help me make a choice? I know very little about the sect master and the elders, so I don't know which one is suitable for me. Qin Yun said to Xiao Qihong with a smile. Do you like fighting? If you like to fight, then choose Imperial Light. If you really aren't good at fighting, then choose another elder. This way, you'll have more life-saving means. Xiao Qihong directly gave a suggestion. Qin Yun, didn't you say you are not good at fighting? Yu Yuan said with mischievous laugh. Then don't choose Imperial Light. I'm not good at fighting, but that doesn't mean I don't like fighting. To be honest, I really want to enter the Nine Suns' sacred ground to kill enemies. I'm not afraid of fighting. Qin Yun spoke from the bottom of his heart. Alright then. If you're really not afraid, then choosing Royal Light is definitely the right choice. Royal Yuan didn't insist. He nodded and said, Royal Light is very experienced when it comes to fighting extraterrestrial beings. The number of extraterrestrial beings he has killed is the highest among us. Then it's settled, I choose Elder Yu Guang. Qin Yun said with smile. Remember, don't die. Entering the Nine Suns' sacred ground is not to send you to your deaths, but to familiarize yourselves with the environment inside. Familiarize yourselves with how to sense the creatures outside and how to defend against them. Xiao Qihong instructed. Many thanks for Senior's reminder. Qin Yun nodded. After bidding farewell to Xiao Qihong, Yu Yuan left with Qin Yun. Before long, Qin Yun returned to the Imperial Heaven Gate. As soon as he returned, Royal Yuan immediately contacted Royal Light. Knowing that Qin Yun wants to follow him, Imperial Light is very happy. He excitedly flew over. Just like that, Qin Yun was considered the first batch of disciples to enter the Imperial Heaven sect with a different surname. Many of the ancient Yu clansmen had already become disciples of the Yutian sect, but not all the youths in the clan could join. Even for the ancient Yu clansmen, the Yutian sect would conduct a strict test. After Qin Yun became a disciple of the Imperial Heaven Gate, the news quickly spread. The entire Divine Desolate knows that the young Divine King is already a disciple of the Imperial Heaven sect. As a result, even the great Divine Lord did not dare to cause trouble for Qin Yun. The Yu ancient clan was very strong among the heaven-creating ancient clans. Moreover, their Yu heavenly talisman was very strong. This was something that the other heaven-creating ancient clans didn't have. Qin Yun was currently at the east side of the Imperial Heaven Gate's inner region. He and the other disciples had a small building here, so there was plenty of personal space. Ling Taiyun chose a pretty strong instructor who was at the 5th level of the Divine Space Realm. And Qin Yun did not ask Elder Yu Guang what his cultivation level is. In short, he is definitely stronger than those instructors. Yu Luan Hui's instructor was Yu Qi. Qin Yun also contacted Yu Luan Hui. They were all new disciples of the Imperial Sky sect and would enter the Nine Suns' sacred ground together in the future. Qin Yun wanted to contact Xiao Yuelan and tell her that he has become a disciple of the Imperial Heaven sect, but he could not contact her. He suspects that Xiao Yuelan has already entered the Nine Suns' sacred land. Yuelan shouldn't be much stronger than me. If I step into the first level of the Divine Space Realm, my Divine Space power will definitely increase by a lot. Qin Yun is now a disciple of the Imperial Heaven sect, so he can also break through and step into the first level of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal in his small building's secret room. Taisher said that if he uses the Divine King Heavenly Seal to break through, Divine Space Power can erupt even more. First fill up the Divine Space Power and then use it to the extreme, Taisher said. Qin Yun took out a small bottle. This is a divine pill given to him by Elder Yu Guang. It is called Space Returning Divine Pill. Eating one can replenish 50 Divine Space Power. Qin Yun still lacks 200 Divine Space Power to replenish, so he only needs to eat 4 pills. If he uses the Divine King Heavenly Seal to absorb the Divine Space Golden Stones, he would need 200 million Divine Space Golden Stones. Elder Yu Guang said that one Space Returning Divine Pill only costs 20 million. If he eats 4, it would be less than 100 million. Of course, this kind of space-returning divine pill is not eaten normally. It is eaten when he goes out to fight and urgently needs to replenish divine space power. Qin Yun can't wait to break through. Moreover, he wants to give it a try and see the effect of the space-returning divine pill. Qin Yun took out 4 pills and ate them. His divine space power is recovering bit by bit. It seems a bit slow. Qin Yun frowned. If he used the Divine King Heavenly Seal to absorb the Divine Space Golden Stones, it would only take an instant. Although the space-returning Divine Pill is a bit slow, it is still not bad. If he used the natural recovery method, he would need to go into seclusion for half a day. Qin Yun previously thought that the more divine space power he had, the longer the recovery time would be, but that is not the case. As the divine space in his body continuously increases, his recovery speed also becomes very fast. Generally speaking, he can recover 10% in 2 hours and completely recover in 20 hours. And Qin Yun is much faster than others. He can recover 10% in an hour. After Qin Yun's divine space power is full, he lies on the bed and placed the Divine King Heavenly Seal on his heart. Qin Yun, I want to use at least 2 billion divine space golden stones to attack your divine space. This way, you can erupt with an even higher upper limit of divine space power. Taisher said. What? Why do you need so much? Qin Yun cried out in alarm because he only has 2 billion divine space golden stones. If he uses 2 billion, he will only have a few 100 million left. Believe me, this 2 billion is definitely worth it, Taisher said. All right, let's begin. Qin Yun thought that since it has come to this, 2 billion it is. The Divine King Heavenly Seal suddenly trembled slightly. Qin Yun felt his heart becoming hot. It's about to begin, there won't be any pain. Taisher's voice came over, comforting the somewhat nervous Qin Yun. After all, he is about to break through. Qin Yun is very excited and also a bit nervous. Qin Yun closed his eyes. He can feel the divine space in his body slowly pulsating. After stepping into the first level of divine space realm, the divine space in his body will pulsate weakly, just like a heart. Has it begun? Qin Yun thought in his heart. Along with his heart becoming hotter and hotter, he can also feel the divine space power in his body swelling up. The divine space power in his body is becoming stronger. After becoming stronger, it will spurt out a kind of energy. This is something that did not exist before. Qin Yun can feel that when the divine space power is flowing through his body, it makes his flesh and blood feel a kind of tight feeling. This is mainly because his flesh and blood and bones have not adapted to this kind of suddenly becoming stronger divine space power. Success, the upper limit of your divine space power, has increased by a lot. Moreover, your divine space power already has a nucleus. You are now at the first level of divine space realm. Taisher said. Qin Yun promptly took out the divine mirror of primal beginning to check. He can't wait to see what the upper limit of his divine space power is. Chapter 2848. Qin Yun looked at the number displayed by the divine mirror and grinned in satisfaction. The upper limit is 380, very good. Qin Yun said with smile. He only has 80 divine cosmos power left. Breaking through consumes a lot of it. Those 2 billion divine cosmos golden stones were well spent, but Qin Yun still doesn't know how it was used up. After all, it was 2 billion divine cosmos golden stones and it was used up in such a short time. This made him very surprised. You are now at the first tier of the divine space realm. When your divine space energy is unable to increase anymore, it means that you will have to make a breakthrough and step into the second tier of the divine space realm. As for when that will be, I am not sure. Taisher said. Under normal circumstances, many people can no longer increase after reaching 500 divine cosmos power and will have to break through to second level. And Qin Yun definitely has more than 500. After all, before he entered first level, he already had 300. Forget it, I will go find Elder Yu Guang now. Qin Yun took a bath and then contacted Yu Guang with the magic mirror. Yu Guang is still in the Imperial Heaven sect. He told Qin Yun before that if he breaks through, he can go find him. Qin Yun immediately left the disciples' dormitory area and went to Elder and Instructor's residence. It is not far. Elder and Instructor's residence is also a building, but they are a bit bigger than disciples. Qin Yun arrived at Yu Guang's stone building. It looks like it has 3 floors from the outside and 2 floors underground. Yu Guang knows that Qin Yun has arrived and directly opened the door to let him in. Elder, I broke through. Guess how much divine cosmos power I have? Qin Yun said with smile. At least 350. Yu Guang opened the door and sensed that Qin Yun's divine cosmos power is not weak. It is divine cosmos power with nucleus. 380. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. How can it erupt so much? Yu Guang is very experienced in divine cosmos realm cultivation, but he has never encountered a situation like Qin Yun's. Qin Yun said with smile. I also don't know, maybe it's because my constitution is different from others. Yu Guang still doesn't believe it. He took out some tools to test and believed Qin Yun. In the hall, Qin Yun looked at the white-robed bald old man, rubbed his hands and asked, Elder, I've stepped into the first tier of the divine space realm. Don't tell me there's no reward or something? Of course. Imperial Light patted his bald head, took out a bottle of pills and handed it to Qin Yun. He said with smile, This is Great Universe Divine Pill. What's the difference between this and the space returning divine pill from before? Qin Yun hurriedly took it. He was in dire need of such items. He did not have many divine universe golden stones on hand, so he could not rely on a large number of divine universe golden stones to make a crazy breakthrough in his cultivation. Especially when it came to replenishing his divine cosmos power, he didn't need the divine cosmos goldstones to quickly replenish it. The bottle of space returning divine pills I gave you before can only replenish 50 divine space force per pill. One great universe divine pill can replenish 100 divine space force, and the speed must be even faster. Imperial Light warned, don't eat it carelessly, only eat it when you are in urgent need. Qin Yun opened the bottle cap. There were only 10 pills inside. If I were to buy it with divine universe goldstones, how much would it cost? Asked Qin Yun. It requires 80 million divine universe goldstones for one pellet. This great returning space divine pellet is only suitable for those at the first, second, and third level of divine universe goldstones, because it can only restore 100 divine universe force each time. Imperial Light said. There are even more. Qin Yun said in shock. What kind of pill is that? Great returning space divine pill. It can restore 500 divine universe force each time. The price is very high, they are not usually sold. Imperial Light said with smile. Don't think about this kind of thing now, wait until you step into the 4th level of divine universe realm, then you will need to use great returning space divine pill. Elder, what is your current cultivation level? Qin Yun asked curiously. I am at the 7th level of divine universe realm. Sect Master and we are both at the 7th level of divine universe realm. Don't think that we are very strong just because we are at the 7th level of divine universe realm. After entering 9 Sun holy ground, we can still lose our lives at any time. Qin Yun put away the bottle of pills and asked again, After I step into the 1st level of divine universe realm, my divine universe force limit is 380, then how high do I need to be to break through to the 2nd level of divine universe realm? This, I am not too sure, because I have never met a monster like you. Imperial Light laughed a few times and said, but generally it is your Divine Universe force limit after you step into the first level of Divine Universe realm, plus 400 or 450, some people need 500 more. So I need more than 800 to step into the second level of Divine Universe realm? Is this good or bad? Qin Yun only feels that this way he will be slower than others. Of course it is good. This means that at the same stage, your Divine Universe force will be higher than others by a lot. Don't think that this little bit of Divine Universe force is useless. It will be hard to break through later stage. If you want to compare who is stronger, look at the difference in Divine Universe force. While speaking, Imperial Light took out a book and threw it to Qin Yun and said, "This is my fighting god technique. Study it yourself first. If there is anything you don't understand, come ask me." Many thanks, Elder. After receiving the fighting god technique, Qin Yun promptly expressed his thanks. No need to be polite. This is what I should do. Of course, I won't give it to you for free. Next, you need to fight for it yourself. Imperial Light's expression suddenly became serious. Fight for it? Do you want to go to Nine Sun Holy Ground to kill enemies? Qin Yun hastily asked. Of course not, with your current strength. You won't even be able to deliver food. Imperial Light shook his head and said, "Next, you will have to compete with all kinds of bloodline descendants of heaven-opening ancient clan." Do I have to fight? Qin Yun is somewhat startled. He naturally knows what bloodline descendants are. They are people who have bloodline heavenly rune, moreover they are second or third generation bloodline heavenly rune. That's right. But don't worry, whether it is you or them, all of you can take a beating. Even if you are beaten to death, no one will come to cause trouble for you. Your first step is to compete with the bloodline descendants of our ancient clan. Imperial Light said. No problem, I will certainly do my best. Qin Yun nodded and said, Do you know why we became sect masters and elders? When Yu Guang spoke of this matter, a trace of sorrow flashed past his resolute and old eyes. Qin Yun shook his head. Because our descendants are all dead, killed by those foreign beings. We are all single, we will nurture disciples with foreign surname and then pass on our lifetime's worth of knowledge to them. Imperial Light's entire person seems to have aged a bit. Qin Yun now understands and nodded his head. Imperial Light said again, As long as you work hard enough, the higher-ups of heaven-opening ancient clan will give you good resources. They also need geniuses from outside to stimulate the young and vigorous geniuses of the clan. Only letting the geniuses of the clan know that the foreign beings are very strong is not enough. Because they are still in their growth stage, they cannot directly face those dangerous foreign beings. At this time, they need to bring in foreign geniuses to compete with them, make them feel nervous, and stimulate them to work hard. Chapter 2849. The youngsters who return from the Outerverse are working very hard to increase their strength. What worries the heaven-splitting ancient clans' elders the most are the young geniuses who stand aloof from worldly affairs. Although they have powerful bloodline heavenly rune inheritances, they don't know the dangers of the Outerverse. If they enter the Nine Sun sacred ground and remain arrogant and complacent, they will most likely die inside. That's why the heaven-splitting ancient clans' elders need geniuses from the outside to join them. On one hand, it's to nurture powerful warriors, on the other hand, it's a cruel competition to stimulate the growth of their geniuses. Elder, do you have bloodline heavenly rune? Qin Yun asked about this rather secretive matter. Yes, I have a second-generation bloodline heavenly rune. The third and fourth generation are even stronger. Imperial Light said. The second-generation heavenly patterns on our bodies can evolve into the third or even the fourth generation. This can also be evolved. Qin Yun has many bloodline heavenly rune boxes, but he still hasn't figured out the inheritance method of bloodline heavenly rune. It can be evolved, but the conditions are very harsh. We need a third-generation bloodline heavenly rune possessor to guide us. The third-generation bloodline heavenly rune possessor must first be of the same origin as us. Then they must be strong enough and have a deep understanding of bloodline heavenly rune. Imperial Guang said helplessly. Then are there any examples of successful evolution? Qin Yun asked. Our Yu family doesn't, but the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan and Shao family do. The main problem is that our third-generation bloodline heavenly rune possessors haven't matured yet. Their talent is not good enough and many of them died. Qin Yun suddenly recalled Yu Yaoyao. He suspected that she might have a third-generation bloodline heavenly rune in her body. Then what about Yaoyao? Does she have a third-generation bloodline heavenly rune? Qin Yun asked. Correct. Moreover, her talent is very high. She might be able to help us second-generation bloodline heavenly rune become third-generation. At that time, our strength will increase by a lot. Imperial Guang said excitedly. Qin Yun finally understood why the Imperial Demon was so highly regarded. It was because of this reason. Not only Yaoyao, anyone with a third-generation bloodline heavenly rune is highly regarded. Imperial Light said. Then what about my bloodline heavenly rune box? Are you interested? Asked Qin Yun with a smile. I'm not interested. To us, that is an inauspicious item. If one's fate is not strong enough, whoever touches it will be unlucky. Only you can live well until now. Royal Light repeatedly shook his head and said, Don't take it out, I don't want to see this kind of thing. Qin Yun was very surprised that the heaven-splitting clan members who had returned from the Outerverse were so afraid of the bloodline heavenly pattern box. Alright, go back and take a look at the universe explosion divine technique I gave you. If you feel that it's not suitable, I'll help you find other battle divine techniques. Imperial Light smiled and said, I also have some matters to attend to. I'm preparing to bring people into the Nine Sun sacred ground. Alright. Qin Yun nodded. I will return in 3 days. If I don't return, don't wait for me. If something happens to me, Sect Master will inform you. Elder Yu Guang patted Qin Yun's shoulder. Elder, you will definitely come back, Qin Yun said with smile. Elder Yu Guang did not say anything and sent Qin Yun out. After Qin Yun left, he immediately returned to his residence. He entered the small building and took out the Universe Explosion Divine Technique. Qin Yun handed over the Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman Shao Qihong gave him to Taisher to study. Taisher will organize it and then impart it to Qin Yun through the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Qin Yun looked at the Universe Explosion Divine Technique. After reading a few pages, he became very happy because this Universe Explosion Divine Technique is very suitable for him. Universe Explosion Divine Technique can release divine cosmos power in an explosive manner. This technique has very high requirements for the body. Without a strong enough body, when this kind of explosive divine cosmos power surges out from the divine cosmos, it will definitely tear the body apart. The divine cosmos power inside the divine cosmos inside the body is like many spheres. Each sphere has a nucleus. The cosmic explosion divine art causes the nucleus to become irritable, and after the nucleus becomes irritable, it will be able to release an even stronger divine space force. Qin Yun only looked at the first layer and it is also the most basic. As for the second layer, it can only be used when the divine cosmos power has 2 nuclei. As long as he can master the first layer, the rest will become very easy. Next, Qin Yun began to rest and let his divine cosmos power recover to its peak. Only then can he start practicing. After recovering to its peak, it is already nighttime. Qin Yun is in the underground chamber. He is using the Universe Explosion Divine Techniques method to activate the divine cosmos power. He first released the divine mirror of primordial beginning to test the eruption of his divine cosmos power. This way, he can see the results of his practice. Qin Yun controlled a divine cosmos particle from the divine cosmos in his body to come out. When it comes out, he followed the divine technique's mantra. When the divine cosmos particle came out, it exploded and transformed into even stronger divine cosmos power that surged out from his finger. Old brother Taisher, did my divine cosmos power change? Qin Yun looked at his finger. A bit stronger, but it wasn't obvious. You didn't grasp the timing of the explosion, causing the divine cosmos power produced by the divine cosmos nucleus to be absorbed by your body. You have to restrain your body from absorbing the divine cosmos power, Taisher said. Qin Yun can only continue practicing. This indeed needs to be tried many times before he can master it. Every time Qin Yun practiced, he would use a divine cosmos particle. After practicing for more than 300 times, he was finally able to erupt with twice the divine cosmos power. And the exploding universe divine technique's first layer says that it can at most increase by 2 times. Qin Yun can increase the divine cosmos power by 2 times. In other words, if he uses 100 divine cosmos power, it can become 200. Although the other battle god arts could also do it, the universe explosion god art had a very strange aspect, and that was that it could stack with his battle god art. It could use the universe explosion god art to activate the divine universe power as a foundation and multiply it. For example, when Qin Yun used the heaven-piercing 9 fingers before, he could erupt from 200 divine cosmos power to 300. If he used the exploding universe divine technique, it would become 400 divine cosmos power, and then use piercing heaven, it would become 600 divine cosmos power. This is something other battle god techniques don't have. Of course, this has a very big drawback. If the body is not strong enough, it can't withstand the explosive divine cosmos power that far surpasses the body. Elder Yuguang is tall and sturdy. He is a very valiant old man. In order to make his body very strong, he doesn't even want his hair. He has undergone extreme tempering of his scalp. Just thinking about it makes Qin Yun feel how terrifying the exploding universe divine technique is. If the body is not strong enough, then superimposing it is simply suicide. Qin Yun can now be considered to have grasped the initial stage of the exploding universe divine technique. He only has a few tens of divine cosmos power left. He plans to rest and recover fully before using more divine cosmos power and superimposing other divine technique martial skills to test their might. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.